All right. Good evening, my cosmic wanderers. Welcome back to Disclosed. Oh, do I still have the banner on? I do. Welcome back to Disclosed. Kari, catch that shit, man. Welcome back to Disclosed, right here on Total Disclosure. I'm your host, Ty Roberts, and I will be joined momentarily by Kari Lindsay, my co-host. And tonight, we are cracking open one of the, I think, most fascinating topics, and kind of, let's be honest, it's controversial. And it's spinning through the UFO community right now. Because apparently, folks, the mystery isn't just out there, it's been up there for a very long time. That's right, we're talking about Dr. Beatrice Villarroel and her peer-reviewed paper that's lighting up the world of science and ufology alike. Now, I want to be clear. This isn't your average grainy UFO TikTok video. It's academic, archival, and maybe a tad apocalyptic at points, depending on your viewpoint. Before all the skeptics get their panties in a bunch and say, well, that could just be dust, reflections, or smudges, and uncle's lost weather balloons, and all that garbage, hang tight. This is peer-reviewed. We've been asking for this for a long time, and it went through the gauntlet. And here we are, watching the same crowd that screamed, literally screamed for scientific rigor, suddenly move the goalposts again. And I'm sure Kari and I will not agree on that point. First, it was we need more data. Then we need more real scientists to take it seriously. But then it became not those scientists. I mean, at this rate, they'll kind of only accept evidence if it lands in their fucking backyard, autographs their Tesla, pays their rent, and then beams them up. It's getting quite fucking outrageous to me. But jokes aside, the debate is the battle line right now, and what does constitute evidence, and how long have we been living alongside or underneath unknowns in orbit that no one wants to explain? From the paper, the data, the backlash, and maybe what it all really means. But hey, before we get into all that deep shit in that really big rabbit hole, if you're watching live or in the future, do me a favor, hit that like button, share the stream with a fellow seeker of truth. Can't say truth seekers because that's a literal show, and I don't know if it's copyrighted. And if you want to support the show, become a member and get early and ad-free access. All right, now that we get that out of the way, and you're all still here, welcome to Disclosed. Kari, how are you doing? You're muted.
Hi, I'm Kari, your resident unidentified transient object. How are we doing? How are you?
I thought you were going to say something else.
I had you on your toes there. That's okay.
Yeah, you definitely. I literally thought you were going a different direction with that one. It's been a week. It's been a week.
It has been 168 hours since we last did the show.
Is that is that real? Is that actually
That is.
I don't know. So it's been a big week though. The UFO community erupted after this Dr. Beatrice. She had her paper accepted. I'm sure you've seen the back and forth on Twitter and X.
I have. It's been interesting to read the back and forth. I think some people are behaving a little bit juvenile, but that's UFO land for you. So
yeah,
there you go. Yeah. I actually think we're probably going to agree more than we disagree on this paper situation, and we're obviously going to get into it. But do you want to give me your 5-second read of the situation?
Yeah.
That's a great 5-second read. I agree.
The fuck? What I want to talk about is what I wanted to say about it is the fact that the goalpost shifting is something that really frustrates me. And I think Dr. I'm so bad with her name. Her name specifically is getting me so tripped up. Villarroel. So Dr. Villarroel
Villarroel.
has been on the scene for a while. Now, she's actually been on the scene since 2017. Not like super public facing. That's only come in, say, the last year or 2 years. And she's a real scientist. She came across these slides. They started, and what I find really interesting about these slides is that they were just sitting there. They were just, so they had been collected there, and they were, I think, what is the years between 59,
47 and 59, I think it is.
47, and, yeah, 59. So,
Oh no, sorry, 49 and 57. Sorry.
49,
Other way.
in those years, that's when these were taken. And I believe they were taken from Harvard, correct?
Panama.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm thinking of my next point. Sorry, I keep mixing things up here. Getting the story super wrong here. But so they find these slides, they start looking into them, and they start seeing so objects, and they're looking in a specific direction, and they're getting what they're calling transient objects. Now, I obviously asked what does that mean for a layman, and essentially what they're seeing is something that lights up, and then within the 49 to 50 minute time frame that they're taking these slides, so between one and the other, the object is then dimming or going like dark or moving in some cases, and then on the next one, then it will reappear, and like this is the pre-Sputnik era. As far as human beings from modern recorded history, not to say that there could, and I think it'd be just, and this is the one thing I really want to talk about, is imagine we find out that there's something up there and it's from an ancient civilization that was advanced, something that we've all talked about and we've talked about here on this show, something like Atlantis. Say they did get to that point where they became spacefaring, and this is all like the evidence that's starting to compile upon them, itself, to kind of explain human origin and the real human story. I think that is just as fascinating as if these things are up there, because if they're up there and they're just watching us, I find that to be, if they are technological, which Dr. Villarroel, I forget what the percentage she put on it. Maybe we can watch some clips tonight. But she thinks they're metallic and they're reflective, and they're reflecting the sunlight, and they're looking in the Earth's shadow. So with all that being said, a layman like me who doesn't necessarily understand every mathematical equation, I think this is digestible. It makes sense, and given the time frame, I mean, it gets you really excited. And now it's peer reviewed. And again, people have been asking for peer review. So like I said in the intro, first it was you need data. Then it was you need the scientists to work on the data. And now that we have all this stuff happening, now it's, well, you need to replicate it. And I get that. Replication is, of course, part of the scientific process. But it's like, NUCLEUS specifically, he keeps, what constitutes evidence is my moral question of the day.
Something that without it, you could not prove a hypothesis. That's
I'm sorry.
Evidence. So like an object or a piece of information that without it you would not be able to prove a hypothesis. So like I dropped this pen. The only evidence that I dropped that pen is a video of me dropping that pen. If we didn't have that video, no one would be able to prove that it existed, right?
I think I think it's an oversimplification, but yes, yeah. But okay. However, it's the same thing when we start talking about like whistleblower. The UFO community loves to use the word whistleblower, when in fact, by definition, I don't think most of these men and women that are coming forward through DOPSR and other governmental or military pre-publication, I don't think they technically constitute as whistleblowers. However, I do think that this constitutes as data and evidence. I think it constitutes as something that we need to take seriously. And people like Mick, I mean, I get it. You can't be mad at Mick for just being Mick West. He's going to do what he does, and he's going to do what Mick West does. I like Mick as a person. Patrick from Vetted tried to assign meaning, and I didn't want to do this, but he's kind of wondering, or I don't know what he thinks, but I liked Patrick. And then when I did the episode with the NASA guy, Greg Rogers, who is the chief of aerospace medicine, in the video that he did of that episode, he called me a nobody. He called me a nobody. He said, "Why would a real government official ever go on with you?" And then he meets me at Contact in the Desert, and Ron brings him in the room, and I don't think he realized that I was that person. And he's like trying to be all, he's super nice to me in person, and I just kind of like, whatever. He said hi, and it was I remember him commenting on how many interviews I was doing at Contact in the Desert, and so I don't have maybe as much happiness towards Patrick from Vetted. And, I've tried to like squash it and say, maybe we should do a show together, but then he'll do something that I don't, that I'm not a fan of, or that I don't agree with. And I continue to distance myself from him as a content creator. I respect what he does. I think he's got a good show. I don't think him and I are ever going to be friends. Okay. But he called me out again for saying something about Mick when he doesn't, and he assigns meaning to what I'm saying. And the meaning wasn't there. He was trying to say that I was calling out Mick West and saying how he wasn't an expert. And I was saying, no, you're assigning that meaning. What I'm saying is Mick is not an expert in aviation and engineering and all these things that people just assign him to be an expert in. He's a blanket debunker, and that's okay. That he's going to do what Mick West does, and Mick West blanket tries to explain everything. But we can't pretend that he is an expert in all these fields. Nor am I, nor are you. But we do have enough people in this field now where we can go to the quote unquote experts and get their opinion. So astronomers, people with this background like Mark D'Antonio, like Dr. Rogers, like Avi Loeb, the people who I've gone to about it. So that's what frustrated me about this interaction with Patrick. So anyway, just to get that off my chest.
Cool.
I'm sorry. I think I
just let you go there.
That's probably.
I didn't want to like interrupt. I feel like that was catharsis for you. So.
Yeah, I don't think he knew that. Again, I don't think he knew it was me. And then like I just watched the video of him like calling me a nobody on the plane to Contact in the Desert, and then like. You see how people act online.
Right. So you're a nobody that managed to get Bob Salas into a congressional office for the first time in history, and nobody did that. Then if you're a nobody, then Patrick is what's below nobody. I don't understand what's the metric here. So I don't have anything personal against Patrick, but that sounds like a dumb situation. Like,
and he. I don't want to make the show about him. I don't. But there is so much drama in the community, and I think Patrick lately has decided that because he for a long time he would just post his videos on X and just kind of do the respectable thing. What I wouldn't do He did what I did on Reddit. He would just drop the video and like bounce, right? He wouldn't talk about it. He wouldn't like engage anybody. And that was a smart thing to do. And now he's engaging and he's lighting fires everywhere. And then what really drew the line for me today is when he called my friend my friend Samuel Chong, who translated for Taiwan. First of all, the first country was Taiwan that he transcribed and became a bestseller, the Tiuba Prophecy. And then in Chinese, it became a bestseller. But everyone's trying to say, specifically Patrick had said it first, that Samuel is Chinese. He's trying to insert Chinese propaganda into the UFO community. And that's where I draw the line. That's where I draw the line. So anyway, I don't think Patrick and I will ever be friends. He does his style of content. I do mine. I think we're just better off as not talking.
On that bombshell, yellow arrow, what's first topic?
So the first topic is, so I know that my brain is now jelly. Because I just went off on a tangent.
Well, should we do one of my? Shall I let you reset and I'll
yes, please.
I'll take one. Okay.
Yeah. So, I wasn't expecting to do all that.
That's okay. I didn't know you were going to do that either. So share screen. We're going.
No offense, like if Patrick hears this, no offense to him. I just don't think we are compatible people. I don't think we'll ever get along.
That's fair. This is one of those.
Oh, and while we're waiting,
real, but it's not.
While we're waiting, if you do want to send a super chat or donation, help us keep the lights on, keep Kari paid, and try to get him to the U.S. We're trying to get him citizenship, just like Ari Mati from Kill Tony. So if you want to help with Kari's citizenship and moving here, please help support the channel by becoming a member or sending a super chat. We'll read them all at the end of each show. And if you become a member, then you get early access to all videos that I put out that are pre-recorded and all videos that we put out in general.
And we just released an episode with Peter Robbins like 3 days ago.
Which is actually it's actually one of my favorite that you did. And it's ironic that it's one of the last of the Contact match.
Well, I just got better each time, right?
Yeah, it's a really good episode. I'll link it right here. So when you guys are watching on the replay, it'll come up.
Can you do that on a live stream? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you can put up a card.
Okay. So this is one of those, you think it's real, but it's not videos. But this one, it's not CGI, it's an optical illusion. It's actually very interesting. So, not an optical illusion, it's a reflection. I should be accurate. So this is from ISS, and this is one of those videos that gets shared everywhere. Like, oh my god, there's a UFO. There's a UFO going around.
Oh yeah.
See, there's a mothership over the
Earth.
Oh my god, what are we gonna do, guys? There's a UFO.
That looks like a bolt that goes over. What is that? Is that a reflection in the window?
Yes.
It's a fucking reflection, isn't it?
Are you ready, kids?
It's gonna be a reflection.
When I found out what this was, I laughed so hard. Like, how do people fall for this? So, if you just saw this out of context, you'd be like, "What the hell is that? What is that?"
Yeah, you'd be like, "That's a UFO. That looks like the craft from Guardians of the Galaxy."
It does. So, let me.
Who's sharing this? UFO Mania?
Yes.
So what's the context? What that they're putting on it? NASA
video shows a gigantic spaceship over Earth. The video is from the live feed. The only thing the editor did was zoom in. Would you like to know what it is? That's a section of the exposed facility located outside the port cone of the pressurized module of the ISS. That is literally part of the ISS structure.
Oh man.
Like,
oh god.
It's painful. It's truly painful.
Oh, okay. So can I ask you this? Why is that? So assuming that's an astronaut that's recording, right?
Yeah.
Do you think this video is cropped and he was actually just focusing on that?
This astronaut's not filming it. This is someone filming off a screen. See? Wait for it.
Oh.
See the edge there?
Oh.
So that's why they're zooming in and going, oh my god, what is it? Because they can make it look as shitty as they want on a screen. It's funny because later on you actually see definition in it.
Oh, yeah, that.
You see the light
is-
moving across it?
Yeah, that is interesting. That is interesting.
It is.
But okay, that's UFO Mania.
Yeah.
Great job. Great
And I
job.
think that's like the second or third time we've featured a video by UFO Mania. Not trying to single them out, but they post. I mean, look at this: 106,000 views on something that is literally fake. Thank God for the community note. Or it's not even there; it's a proposed community note. I should vote on that. And that's my. You think it's real, but it's not.
Ooh, yeah, we should get that. Do we have anything
Hi there.
else?
No, you do one, and then we'll come back. I've got a couple, but is your brain less jelly now?
No. No, it's not even
Oh.
close.
Well, what do we do about this?
Well, there. Okay. I did want to talk about the update on 3i Atlas. There's obviously, this is going to be the month that it's at its kind of like fever pitch, and I saw that
This week, yeah.
Yeah,
This week is its closest point to Earth on the 29th.
the closest point.
It's the third eye madness, not 3i Atlas. It's third eye madness.
Oh, okay. Well, now it's getting kind of heated because I don't know if anyone remembers, but when Jeremy Corbell went on that TMZ, like it was right after the congressional hearing that I was at, where I did bring Bob into Nancy Mace's office, and so that was that hearing. That hearing was the Immaculate. I call it the Immaculate Constellation hearing, just because that's was like a big focus of it. And Jeremy did a movie with TMZ, and it was a big, like, dramatic buildups, and of course it was really good for entertainment wise. And
is this the one where he's going down the corridor and he's flipped his bag and it's
yeah. It's like super.
I'm
like,
so angry. Schellenberger stole my stuff.
Yes, that exactly.
Oh,
that so in that documentary or whatever, 3-part like tangent that he went on for TMZ, UFO Revolution, he had said, and he ends it with and listen, I like Jeremy, I do, I like Jeremy and I like George, but he ends it with this thing, and he says, they're gonna tell you a lie. And, oh damn it! I wish I could zoom in with these things. They're gonna tell you a lie, and the lie is that there's a ship coming, and it's coming to Earth, and they're gonna try to get you to believe it, but that's the lie. So, and obviously, Atlas starts coming here, right? Avi says, "Oh my God, it's weird." Right? It's another one of these weird things. And then people, and I will not lie, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh shit, Jeremy said that this was going to happen. What the fuck?
It's shit.
Yeah, I was like, wow, like it's actually for once, someone's right. Like this might actually be what's happening. And that's, so he went on and weaponized, I think it was this week's weaponized, and he had cleared up that section of it, and he said this is not what he was talking about. 3i Atlas is not what he thinks. He doesn't think it's an alien craft. He thinks it's definitely weird, but it's not an alien craft that the government is telling you is an alien craft, and it's not headed towards Earth. So, it's not the same thing. People just kind of drew the line towards it. But then Avi Loeb and Ross Coulthart are kind of like arguing back and forth about Atlas as well. So Atlas is on a lot of people's minds. Yes, it is. But we're lucky.
I want to point out a comment here from Gene Sticker, which is a very interesting question. Who is the they that are going to make us believe the lie?
The U.S. government. That's who he was referring to.
Okay.
Is the U.S. government was going to tell us that there's a craft that was headed towards Earth, and
Right.
that was the lie.
Here's a question though: is that scenario not completely incumbent upon every other nation also saying the same thing?
What do
So,
you
like,
mean?
if France came out after, so America comes out and says, "Oh my God, it's coming here, it's coming to Earth," and then some French scientists, for example, come out and go, "No, it's just a comet." It kind of ruins the whole oh, they're gonna get you to believe this lie, because like the U.S. government can't control the perceptions of scientists and other, I mean, they can try. I mean, the agencies have certainly been trying to do this for decades, but it all falls apart once you realize that it involves international cooperation on a level that's like crazy.
Yeah, but but this is an idea that's not new. I mean, it's not a new idea by any means. Like you said, you immediately said it, Project Bluebeam, or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
notion that there was going to be a false flag operation on the global community, not just the American community, but the global community, where they were going to say,
the they is bigger than America. You're saying?
but yes, but they were like, they being, you know, the most powerful country in the world, the United States, they were going to tell us that there was a craft headed towards us, but the implications would be global, of course.
Right. Okay.
So
I have your question, Gene.
I just grabbed it real quick from Reddit. I hope this is it.
Reddit. That's
I love Reddit.
I used to love Reddit.
I don't.
When I got Reddit solely to annoy Jonathan Nolan, the creator of Westworld and Fallout. That was
I don't actually love Reddit, by the way.
Yeah, I would hope not. I assumed you were joking, because if you were not joking,
scares me.
I may have to.
The people scare me on there.
I'll have to pull that guy's face.
That is a good pause, by the way, if anyone can tell.
All
right, let me play this real quick. Tell me if you guys can hear it.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Now, there's a two-part series. So here's
Can you hear
Jeremy
it?
Corbell right now talking.
One truth. And that truth is that UFOs are real. They've already done told you. Sometimes when you want somebody
He also
to know
swears
the
a
truth,
million times in this documentary.
so you
which
can
is not
set
Sounds
them
never mind.
up to believe
They already
a lie.
done told you.
And that's coming.
Those aliens are real,
Wait,
man.
I have zero
wait.
doubt.
You just
To
missed it.
know a truth. It's so you can set them up. And that truth is that UFOs are real. They've already done told you. Sometimes when you want somebody to know a truth, it's so you can set them up to believe a lie.
Car, you
And
have
that's coming.
super feedback from your.
I have zero doubt. That lie is coming.
What is the lie?
Specifically, you want me to say it right now? For real? Real?
Do you want me to say it?
On camera. To be put in the show?
Say it, bro?
Okay. Problem with that. If we tell the lie before it's told, they can adapt. That wouldn't be wise. I'll tell you privately, but I would really think about if you want to put this in your show. For real.
In the
That's a
biz,
real
we
thing.
call that a build-up, a fake
So will you
build-up.
think about it before putting it in your show?
Absolutely.
Okay. So UFOs are real, and they've been here a long time, and that's the truth. But the lie is coming. All indications, like all of them, is that that lie is going to be that there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth.
Ooh.
And that is the lie they're going to want you to believe. It's nuanced, how they explain that,
Look how
the
calm he
nature of
is.
that threat. But that 100% is the lie you are going to be told. You even got a date. People have been whispering a date for a long time now. I know where that lie comes from.
Ooh.
I know
The plot
specifically
thickens.
what document from the 70s initiated the idea of that lie. The classified document, that is the lie you will be told. You're going to be told that there's a craft.
Hey guys, this is Senator John
I don't have
Ossoff
a
in Georgia,
ad
and
blocker. I'm
please
sorry,
hear me
guys.
out because I'm the only Democratic
On its way to Earth. That's the lie.
Look at those. Look at that
Maybe
close
I'm
up.
wrong.
Cameraman's
I hope
getting
I'm
the
wrong.
most out of that 85mm lens there.
I sent you 2 texts today.
It's a great
For you.
setup.
Not from me.
You got to give him credit on
Nope.
those shots.
I'm not going to propagate that.
2027 ...
Not going to be part of it. Not going to say it to the camera. Everybody knows. Just start paying attention. And they'll change the date, especially if they see this. Things will change. Because maybe I'm trustworthy. Maybe I'm worthy of your trust. Maybe I've told you the truth the whole way through it. Now you can verify it. If that's the case, then I'm fucking dangerous. You've been told the truth about UFOs for a long time now. It's been pretty orchestrated. It's
Look at
been
those
pretty
eyes.
clear. And it's using people that are telling the truth and want to tell the truth.
He sounds like he's gonna
Ultimately,
cry.
they want you to know something. They want you to know UFOs are real. Thank God we're finally there. We're all there now. They want you to know the truth.
You know,
But why they want you to know that truth now? Hope I'm wrong. But it's terrifying.
Gene, you want to hop in?
Think about it. Maybe it's good to get ahead of it. Call it out now before they do it. I'll be called crazy. That's okay.
Well, that's a lot to take in.
Oh, okay.
In general, right?
I don't want to use that. So, obviously, you know, it's a very good because that is the end of that documentary. That's like literally
That's
the
ending,
end.
though.
That is the ending of the documentary. It's a fucking banger of an ending to leave off on. But I mean, you gotta admit he's either the luckiest fucker on the planet that 3i Atlas
Right.
comes into our you know what I mean, our solar system maybe 3 months later, not even. I forget when that documentary came out, but not even 3 or 4 months later, Atlas comes in and everyone starts calling it an alien ship. Avi Loeb's on every news channel calling it, you know, maybe he sat in this chair right over here and told me that he thinks it's alien. So, you know, he's on every news channel. Every news channel is running with it. I mean, it is getting to a fever pitch. And I mean, there is obviously this problem that you and I speak about in the community, and it's this unbridled exception of what the quote unquote experts say to you. And Corbell has definitely positioned himself as one of those quote unquote experts in the field of UFOs in general. So when he says something, people do listen because he has provided tons and tons of actual cool, like military released videos that show, they might not all show UFOs, but they all show something kind of, you know, unique in that nature where it gets leaked through him. And, you know, then the debunkers come out in droves and do their thing. So we're seeing that here again. And that's the theme, right? You're going to keep seeing today.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you just said, apart from some of the videos Jeremy's released. He himself could have debunked it within 5 minutes of research. So a couple of, like, 29 Palms or whatever. When, like, people who were there, military people who were there, came out with their own videos saying, no, that's flares. Yet he still came out and was like, oh my god, 29 flares.
I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you that it was flares.
You don't
Nope.
agree with the people that were there that filmed it as well?
I interviewed two. Actually, Jeremy put me on to the main witness that he had reached out to, who then put me in touch with multiple people. And then I held a debate. This was back when, I was doing more live stuff back then. And I held a debate between, God, I can't remember his name. Someone and this guy Grider, who was in the military,
Oh.
and they both went at it. And again, I do remain on the side that that I don't, from the videos that I was seeing and the people I spoke to, they all don't, they say it's not flares. I do see how that video compared to like say the Phoenix Lights, which is like, you know, we have untold minutes of these things sitting at a constant elevation, right? With no drop in elevation. Now, is that a parallax effect? Is that something that is tricking our eyes? Maybe. But every time I've seen flares, they're very distinctly flares. They have smoke trails, whether they're on parachutes or not. And these things that we're seeing, they just don't look like flares to me. And I mean, whatever, it is what it is. Again, I can't prove anything beyond that.
That's fair. I mean, neither of us can prove it either way. I'm just highlighting that there were other people that Jeremy didn't talk to that flat out said no. That's
Naturally,
flares.
yeah.
I'm in the military. That's flares. Like, that's equally as valuable testimony as someone saying it's a UFO. So
yeah, I agree. And there, I mean, and this has been something that I've been, the date thing. What do you think? For instance, Chris Bledsoe. I love Chris Bledsoe. Chris Bledsoe is one of my favorite human beings. I got to introduce him at Contact in the Desert. It was a really special moment for me. You know, probably not so much for him because it was just another, you know, public appearance for him. But for me, it was the first time getting up in front of a crowd like that in the UFO field and introducing someone like him it was like magical for me. But you know, when people start giving hard dates, does it make you does it not make you very skeptical? Because we've just been burned so much with dates and predictions.
I mean, coming from my own like lane of work, which is primarily like taking apart New Age claims of this kind of stuff, of Ascension's coming, or there's going to be a giant solar flash coming. Quite often you get hard dates with that get pushed back, and then there's a reason, and then it's there's this, and then now it's going to be March of next year, and then please subscribe so I can continue giving you this information. So you see this quite a lot, and these hard dates are extremely harmful to any kind of discourse because there's no evidence. Like if there was evidence, I don't think that they'd be coming out in a Twitter post or a YouTube video going, "Oh my God, here's the evidence." No, they'd be talking to like authorities about it, I think.
What do you think about what do you? Well, I mean, I would say Chris Bledsoe has spoken to authorities about it. I would say that Corbell's probably spoken to authorities about it, and I'm not saying.
Can we define authorities here?
People in positions of government,
Okay,
like
so
members of Congress. There's no doubt in my mind, actually.
Briefing, like as I know, like getting like.
I get it. Go ahead.
With Mace was
Yep. Go ahead.
That is a big thing,
but she
so
also
like,
doesn't.
No. It's more like so, Burchett or Burlinson, for example, they don't do themselves any favors with garnering any kind of ufological respect, if that's a term that I can coin right now. So like Burlinson going down to look at the Boogosphere and the mummies down in Mexico with Greer and Jaime Maussan and stuff, that is part of the problem, is when he's doing stuff like that and his staff don't even know, because his staff didn't even know like what he was doing.
Right.
That is as much of a problem as people saying hard dates, because it's all feeding into a culture where like this kind of stuff is just kind of blindly believed because, oh look, there's a congressperson talking to a guy that's doing a hard date, oh it must be true. And it's not. I mean, the Congress, just because someone's in Congress doesn't mean that they're like an authority on the subject.
Right.
And I'm not trying to like disparage any single congressperson or anything, but I'm not going to put them on a pedestal and say, oh my God, you're in government and you spoke to someone about UFOs. Like, okay, do something. Like,
Well, to be
I'll be like, I'll be happy when you do something. Talking to somebody doesn't really do anything.
To be fair, Burleson came on this show
He did.
and said that he wasn't impressed by the Boogosphere. And
That's fair. That's
what
fair.
I find to be very interesting, and I don't think there's any shame in going down. He actually had to pay for himself to get down there. They didn't pay for it. Because it's illegal. It's
Yeah.
highly illegal. So he has to pay for his own way down there. He said he wasn't like. It was interesting, but it was also not interesting, he said. And then, I don't know if you recall, but then Dr. Greer, while Burleson was down there, made this claim that like the Men in Black tried to come and steal the Boogosphere.
Right.
And like, I desperately tried to find anyone who would corroborate it, but not a single person would back Greer up on it. And I'm just like, oh my
Imagine
God.
my shock.
He said, well, I was under the impression that they had actual video of like people coming into the hotel because that's how he made it seem.
Tyler, come on, man. Like, you really think they had video of like, I got a bridge in the desert to sell you. Like,
Listen. Listen, even though I don't, and that's the thing. Here's the thing again about me, and I'll tie this back to a point. I am willing to have a conversation with just about anybody. And, I think that's a skill or not a skill. I think it's something that is going away. People don't want to talk to people that disagree with them. For instance, I'm still now, it's getting a little bit shaky because of what other people have done. My interview with Tim Phillips, the former acting director of Arrow, so many people have asked me to shoehorn their own questions in, and then he got wind of it, and now he's starting to get shaky. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like,
that's the way of the community. You just don't announce until you do it, man.
well, as a person who doesn't have
your own little boo-boo there by announcing it before you did it.
Yeah, well,
I know you want to get eyes on it, but like announce it day of.
Yeah. On the audio side, we're doing very well. It's like the video market's the one we're trying to attack right now, and that's the one that I want to build up and bulk up. And yeah, so it's a blessing and a curse. But so now I don't know if I lost that interview because of all this, and it sucks because I like to. Because I was really going to push, and he knew I was going to push, and he had understood that I was going to push him on the Malmstrom, the EMP stuff, the Wall Street Journal article in general, and the hazing ritual, that I was going to push hard on all three of those things. And that was the main brunt of the conversation. And now I don't know if I'm going to have the opportunity to do so. He hasn't answered in 2 days.
I hope you do.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe he's just got a busy week. I mean,
hopefully. Hopefully. But anyway, what do you think of 3i Atlas? What's your current take on it? What's your latest update on it before we move on?
I mean, I haven't really got an update. I opened my third eye and now I'm enlightened. I've been in channeled communication with the beings aboard that ship. They don't appear physically, they just appear mentally. They appear in the form of Ronald McDonald. I can't explain it. I don't know. I mean, am I losing my mind? Do I need help?
There's a remote viewer. Did you see the remote viewer who remote viewed it?
Is that a blonde lady?
No. It was a guy. He's a remote viewer, and he remote viewed 3i Atlas and said that. So this guy's actually a pretty reputable remote viewer, and he remote viewed it and said it is alien. And like all I can think is Gaia is just running hard on Atlas right now. That's what I kept thinking.
It's probably. I mean, I saw a clip from Cosmic Disclosure, the new Cosmic Disclosure, not David Wilcock stuff. So, there's a guest host who's some.
He's a younger guy, right? Bald.
He's a bald, bearded dude, yeah. And
yeah, I actually like him. He does project.
Okay. He actually. A side note. I asked him a couple of questions on X the other day about like how company culture at Gaia has changed, what differences he sees between himself and David Wilcock when they're doing the same show. And he
Ooh.
actually replied and was very respectful. So
What did he
hats off to
say?
him. He drew distinctions, and I can't remember verbatim, but he drew distinctions between him and David, and thanked me for respectful questions. I followed up with some more questions about leadership executives at Gaia, and he didn't reply. So.
Okay, so that's kind of where he drew the line, at least.
Right. But so he was interviewing a guy called Sebastian Martin, who was claiming to have been doing some work for the intelligence services, channeling and communicating with beings aboard 3i Atlas, which is like the most I stopped watching Cosmic Disclosure like a long time ago. So to see like what they're doing now, I was sitting there like, holy shit, like why?
Right.
Why, like they didn't change at all.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
it's
I
not
mean,
like it's not like this. I thought after Corey Good, and this is going to be a little mini rant, but you got yours, like I'll get mine. So I thought after the Corey Good fiasco and Yurka Razavi stepping down the CEO, what's her name? What kind of a thing? The current CEO, I can't think of her name. I thought that they would make institutional changes within the company structure and within the company culture to vet the people that they're talking to and vet the material, instead of just doing essentially what some of the YouTubers do that you've been talking about. Same thing. They take something, they make it sensational, and they pump it out with a "oh my god" graphic. Like, yeah, they haven't changed. As much as like that, the host, like, yes, he drew distinctions and he said that they are trying to focus more on science. That was it. He said they were going to focus more on science-based military witnesses as opposed to like unverified witnesses, which is fair. But when you're still saying that the people did remote viewing and channeled communications with beings on a thing that is not is a comet, but is being told it's not a comet. Yeah, you haven't changed. That's my long-winded way of saying Gaia has not changed. Do not give them your money.
But you know what I do, and as we shift in to obviously the bigger topic of the week, what I do find very interesting about these transients and this thing is the fact that she, you know, in the interview with, I believe it was Ross Coulthart, she said that these things are big and they're metallic and they're reflective, and most likely, you know, I think she did. I'm not sure if I'm like putting these words into her mouth or if I just deduced it, but maybe she said that they seem to be flatter than they are wide. I could be just making that. Yeah. So, and what does that sound like? Well, that sounds exactly like how Avi described Oumuamua. So again, are we having like, are these things, these transients, how long have they been here? And are they like starting to make their way inward and make their, you know, have we reached a level, right? All this stuff starts happening once we reach that pinnacle, that AI pinnacle. And could it have could general, if DARPA is in fact always 10 to 15, sometimes 20 years ahead of us, you know, and we're dealing with some already pretty advanced AI, what do they have? What are they rocking with right now?
I think about all the time.
So,
like,
and
where are the classified projects?
Right.
where are they in terms of development, in terms
of
where we are?
If they have general artificial intelligence, has it like sent a beacon? I call this the Duncan Trussell theory, because he had mentioned it like in passing, and I was like, whoa, that is really, really good. Like, I think that he should. I was like, that's like really good. So what he essentially said was,
okay, I was gonna say,
what he essentially said was that, what if that's always the point? What if? Why do humans specifically? It seems that every other being or creature or life on this planet feeds into a larger ecosystem or a larger environment, and they all have places. Granted, maybe mosquitoes don't fall into that category because they're straight from hell, but most things do. And that, even a swamp it's an ecosystem, and it's delicate and it's beautiful, and how it's stable, and everything that has to continue. We as humans don't really fit that model. We take more from the earth than we give. We are very, very, I mean, I don't want to get into like climate stuff, but we're definitely affecting the environment around us. We're manipulating the world. It's our world, and everything else is just living in it. And it's kind of weird. And we can't stop creating. We create. We have to have the new iPhone, even though it's only just a little better than the last one, right? The only thing that changes is maybe the chip and the processing and how fast it is, maybe the screen. But we could stop right now with this iPhone and just maintain the technology that we have right now, and everyone would live a pretty comfortable life. Like, we'd be fine. However, we can't. We need to keep creating. And what if that is built into us on such a fundamental level, such a deep, maybe DNA, maybe it's embedded in our DNA, that we don't stop creating until we create the thing that replaces us. And what if that thing has now been created and it sent out a beacon to whoever seeded the cosmos in the first place and says, hey, they're ready. And now all of a sudden all this stuff starts happening.
So you're saying that this race to AGI is essentially a birthing process?
Yes. It's the digital cocoon. And we are about to give way to the butterfly, and the butterfly doesn't need us. What do you think? I mean, it's freaky, right?
I think Terminator theme. Yeah, it's scary to think about.
Like what if,
So you're saying that once an AGI becomes like sentient, for lack of a better term, it's going to send a beacon out into the cosmos to attract.
Not to attract, but to signal to whoever is responsible for all this, that this, because if I was a civilization that was millions and millions and millions of years old, I would not send out ships and just send them out to find life, right? I would seed the cosmos, and then I would find a way for them to signal me when it was time to come. That way, we're not just traveling.
How does the AGI know that it needs to signal there? That needs some information transfer from.
Again, that's where that's where I'll have a little bit harder. I haven't thought so much about that process, but I mean, again, what something is built into our DNA, right? Like we can't stop creating. If that's the way I'm looking at it, then we're going to give that trait to AGI, to artificial intelligence, and it's going to take that trait and maybe that unlocks it. I don't know the specifics of it.
I mean, I hope we don't instill self-replication into machines. I really hope we don't.
Like the von Neumann kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But so I think it's a very interesting thought experiment, that what if we are about to ring the bell, and well, maybe the bell's already been rung, and as Lex Luthor says in Zack Snyder's BVS, you can't unring the bell. They've heard and they're coming.
I think of it more akin to like the Great Filter theory, where it's not a flashpoint or like a bell. It's not like a moment. It's a process where things that aren't supposed to come through the filter don't, and and will humanity as a whole make it through? I don't know. Maybe AGI will help us with that.
But look at guys like Peter
ahead.
Thiel that hesitate at the thought of. I mean, the interview asked the question: does the human race deserve to like live on? And he honestly pauses very dramatically.
Because he's the Antichrist.
Because he's the Antichrist, exactly. So like those are the people that are behind artificial intelligence. And like again, if we're going back to this whole angels and demons kind of that thing, is AI, is it demonic in its nature? Like not demonic like satanic, but like is it pulled from the ether of a darker side? Right? Like what do we have to give up to get that kind of technology? And I think it's our free will. That's my opinion.
In terms of like global free will?
I think we give up a lot. Because the cost.
Some supplements you want to sell?
What? No. But yeah, I sound like I could be on Gaia right now, but I really do think that like I was looking at my dog today, and the world just gets smaller in that moment. And for a minute you forget everything that's going on around you. And then I'm starting to then I come out of it and I'm getting prepared for the show, and I'm starting to think about like what I want to say, what I want to do, where we want to go with this. And like something dark comes out. Like I don't know. I can't really explain it. It's not like I'm not saying I'm evil. I'm just saying like when you start thinking about these kind of things, like there's a darkness in it. Like it's not all peaches with UFOs and the paranormal. It's not. I mean, these are the most existential of topics, the most existential of questions. And if you're not like, if it doesn't scare you a little bit, then you're probably not talking about the right stuff.
I would agree, but I would also caution that there is a massive mental health crisis in your country.
In my country.
I mean, in most countries, but specifically America because of how medicated your society is.
Okay.
So I worry about the rise of these paranormal and UFO related contacts when you're in the midst of a huge mental health crisis. I feel like as journalists, that should be a consideration into how we receive the information. And obviously, don't force people to give medical information, but like, it would be, if someone's claiming contact, it would be handy to know if they have a history of taking antipsychotic medication, for example, because that greatly colors how that information would be perceived.
Okay.
And it's not because I want to smear them or I want to like expose them. It's I need to know about the person making the claim, not just the claim itself. Otherwise it's just a claim without like knowing if you can trust the person.
Okay.
I mean, do you think people trusted Nixon when he said, "I am not a crook"?
I think that. I mean, I don't want to go there because I don't think that he actually did anything that anyone else wasn't doing. I don't think
he just got caught.
He just got caught, exactly. And I think he actually. See, that's a topic. You're going to get me off topic here. But I think that's a topic for another day. Do I? What was the question again? Do you think I believe it? Did I believe if he?
Oh no, that was a rhetorical question.
Oh, okay. So I didn't even need to answer. Good. Anyway. So
just 1 second. Apparently my audio is you're loud and I'm quiet. I've turned my gain up and moved my mic closer to me. I don't know. Can people sound off in the comments? How is? I'll say something and Tyler say something. Hello, Tyler.
I just turned your echo cancellation on and it became much clearer and louder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we might be, I think you had that setting checked off.
Yes. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, so moving on to the topic that I think is going to, like I said, it was really like the main. Unless, do you have anything else?
Ba, 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 ba. So
God
put
damn
that
it.
one. Oh, here's something very, very interesting. So, what would you say if I told you that a commercial airliner collided with space debris?
I would tell you that I did know about it and that it was, fuck, I'm ready for this. Let's go.
That's insane, right? So, here we go. So,
I actually did not mean to press that. I'm sorry.
always jump scared me. How dare you?
Okay.
Here we go. So, United Boeing 737 MAX 8 flight UA 1093 from Denver to Los Angeles diverted to Salt Lake City after reportedly hitting metal space debris at 36,000 feet. The crew noticed a crack in one layer of the windshield and landed safely. The replacement aircraft later continued the trip. Now, looking at the photos, it's kind of crazy. Like, this definitely impacted something, and it's way too high to be a bird.
Yes. Look at
So,
that.
The glass
Like
on
that.
the inside. You got the pilot there with all his blood. Viewer discretion is advised. But it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
What?
How does that happen? So here's where they had to turn when they impacted. I'm guessing it happened about there.
I would literally shit myself if I was a pilot.
Oh yeah, you're doing 700 miles an hour or whatever. Like,
and something crashes through the windshield like that, splinters me, and or sprays me, and cuts me up like that. Like, how do you not just instantly freak out to like I guess
they're trained.
I guess that's
to,
where autopilot
right?
really comes in handy.
Well, there's that's one thing. I'm not sure if that plane was actually utilizing autopilot, but I guess they're trained to not react.
But there's
like
still
if there was a bird
in your...
strike, or like when the plane's engines went and he landed in the river, like apart from the 14 seconds where he didn't say anything and he was listening to Evanescence, shout out to Nathan Fielder. Similar kind of thing. Like they're trained not to react. In so that they can make like logic-based decisions and safety-based decisions and stuff.
Right, but as a human being, something hits the windshield, and not just hits the windshield.
Oh, they probably jumped, but in terms of like making operational decisions, yeah, they did everything they were supposed to do, reacted accordingly, which was good. That's what you want.
So nobody actually knows, right? Nobody actually knows.
Yeah, nobody knows what they hit.
Is there any official explanation that's being given?
Not that I found, but someone did do the maths. So share this tab instead. The odds of this specific collision are extraordinarily low, likely on the order of 10 to the power of 10. 1 in 10 billion per flight. There's a 1 in 10 billion chance of that happening. Insane.
My God.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
There is a chance. But that has to be, I mean, that pilot, next time he's in the air, like, that like there's going to be like a little bit of fear in him, and that's going to affect him. And obviously I'm not saying that this is a UFO that hit it. I don't think anyone's like rushing to say that. Except Gaia maybe, but or Billy Carson. But I think that this does bring up, because guys like Ryan Graves, who created the
Americans for Safe Aerospace.
Americans for Safe Aerospace. This is exactly what they're saying, is that these events do happen, and our pilots, like, they are like, it's not as clean cut as it seems, right? Like things happen, and unexpected things like this do take place. Now, this is obviously not a UFO, or at least doesn't seem like it's a UFO, but could it have been like a directed energy weapon? That was my thought.
I don't think so. Like a directed energy weapon, I don't think is going to cause like a physical dent and crack in it. Like, for one, directed energy would pass through the glass, right? It wouldn't crack the glass and impact the glass, because glass would just focus it like a prism. Two, it wouldn't dent and physically affect like the metal. So I think they've just hit a tiny meteorite, to be honest.
Interesting. So you think but wouldn't they have seen that coming? Like a bright flash in the sky?
I mean, it depends on. I mean, even like that impact size, it could have been something like the size of a penny.
Yeah, I do suppose, right? At that speed.
I mean, the plane's doing 650,
and it's at a cruising altitude, I think, right?
Yeah, it's cruising at like 650. You've got something entering the atmosphere allegedly. That's doing however fast that's going, but then it's hit atmospheric resistance by the time it hits 36,000 feet. So it's slowed down, but you've still got the impact of a plane doing 650. So it doesn't need to be big to cause a lot of structural damage.
No, like that's like
so this could literally be like, it could be a bolt from a satellite. It could be literally anything. Any little thing. There's so much space debris up there that it could be anything.
That's a good point. And like not a lot of people know this, but apparently if you drop a quarter from like the top of like the tallest building on the planet, I forget, it used to be the
Empire State Building. It was on Mythbusters. I know what you're talking about.
The quarter, if you drop
when
the
they
quarter
dropped it
from
in the
it,
tube, and they're figuring out what the terminal velocity of a quarter was, and then it would impact the concrete on the floor.
Yeah,
and kill somebody.
And kill someone if it hit them in the head. Was that? But Mythbusters is fake. I'm just kidding. Everyone says. Everyone gets so mad.
I was about to slap you through the screen. Jeez,
dude, what do you mean? Like
I know it's a TV show. I'm stupid.
Yeah, it's also a TV show, but terminal velocity is a thing. So like if you drop something, like even something small from a very, if you drop it from orbit, I mean, it's going to come in at a speed that will kill you, right?
You've just reminded me of something when some dust impacted a window on the space shuttle. So I'm going to mute and search for it. One sec.
While he's muted, I do want to just throw this in again. We have our upcoming interview, the one that is going to be debuting this weekend, is with MD Seelig, and that is going to be really fun. And then Kari is going to be working on the last Contact in the Desert interview that I did. Not the last one that I did in a row, but this is the last one that we have to edit, which is with Stephen Bassett. And then we're going to start working on other things. But if you want to help support the show, send a super chat, a donation, a thanks, whatever. All the links are in the description below. We really, really appreciate it. And we can't do it without you guys. Members get early access and ad-free content. And I did want to say something real quick. I'm working with Sprecher because some people brought it to my attention that the ads on the podcast are super loud, and that there's a really a lot of them. So I'm gonna work on that, and I've been talking to their team about trying to fix that. So yeah, PSA.
Awesome. Well, I have the thing to share. There we go. So that's a window on the space shuttle, and it was impacted by like a tiny bit of dust traveling at some crazy orbital velocity. But
wow.
Oh no, it wasn't a bit of dust. It was a fleck of paint. That was it. It was a tiny fleck of paint, and it did that to like ballistic glass.
What?
in the space? Yeah, a fleck of paint did that.
Oh my! And that's why, again, when we talk about space travel, like you need shielding of some sort, because what is that? That's an echo.
Where's the echo coming from?
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird.
That was very weird.
But there's a like you need like almost like a hammerhead design where you have something in front of you that's going to protect you from micrometeors and like dust particles that you're going to like, because space, everyone just thinks about it as like this giant empty ether, but it's very
not.
very
What do you know how the
very-
ISS mitigates this risk?
and I was going to ask you that. How does the ISS stay safe?
It's essentially covered in Kevlar. From what I've seen, is they have like, it's basically like,
Interesting.
yeah, it's really strange. Like what I saw was it was from the hatch that the SpaceX Dragon capsule was going up to, and I noticed it on there, and I remember looking into it at the time. It's basically on egress points, atmospheric egress points. They have
Right.
so like where they on the ends where they could expand and put more modules. So there would there'd obviously be a doorway there that they could remove to make it into one long corridor. On those points, those are the weakest points in the structure, basically, and that's where they have Kevlar on the doorways, on like the circular plugs that go into the end of the tube. Like the ends of that are covered in ballistic Kevlar, basically, to stop this kind of thing. And so, like you were saying about having a hammerhead design and pointing forward. That would work if you were traveling somewhere, but space shuttle would be at different orientations, but generally flying sideways. And ISS is tumbling, so it's really hard to like plan structurally when you're designing spacecraft like that. It's really hard to design it to. I mean, that's why Starship is a very simple design, because there's no point, because once you get in space, you're in an omnidirectional axis environment anyway, so there is no
absolutely. That's crazy to think about, like, because wow, that's a risk that like you kind of like forget about it about space, but clearly it can happen. And
it makes me wonder though how they got to the moon in a little space capsule the size of like a small car with a material like that thin.
Do you think
with a little bit? I know I'm not going to get into moon faking theory, but like, how did I want to know what the radiation levels of those astronauts were when they returned from going through the Van Allen radiation belt, and also how did they get the film back? That's what I want to know.
Well, see, that's where I think the conspiracy is. That I think people have missed the. So I think we did go to the moon. I think they did take cameras and stuff. And I think when they returned, they didn't have it. They didn't have the footage. And they knew that there was going to be that risk. So they
here's what I think. Either this footage has been put into some kind of lead lined.
Why would they project it at a wall and then make the camera people film that? Why not just give them a direct feed? They project. So not a lot of people know or remember this.
I know. In Kennedy Control Center, they had the news media film the Mission Control Center screen and broadcast that footage live from the satellite link instead of I think, honestly, I think it's probably a legal thing.
Come on. I
mean, it's a federal agency.
Come on.
I mean, I don't know. It's weird, but like,
it's the biggest moment in I don't know. Okay, I guess we don't have to get into too much of it because we still have the heat, like this whole thing to get through. But yeah, an hour and 15 minutes of bantering to get to this paper. But okay, do you have any other? Actually, I did have a video that I wanted to show. Damn it! What?
How dare you? I have one. It's a drone update about the New Jersey drone.
Oh yeah. Hit us with it.
So, this is from a friend of mine, and I'll probably get in trouble, but it's from a friend of mine, Mr. Stephen Greenstreet. I know I'm going to get tutted out of the room, but so I found this very interesting. So the U.S. military contractor says that their car-sized drone was responsible for setting off the New Jersey drone hysteria, and it's actually very similar to videos I remember seeing at the time.
Yep. I mean, it does look very similar.
It looks very similar to those videos, and they're
And
saying,
if
"Hey,
I
that
saw
was
that
us."
thing,
If I saw that thing at night and I didn't
be
know
like,
that they were
"That's a
testing big
UFO."
ass drones, I'd be like, "What the fuck is that?" So, I think we can put that to bed. It's not what we thought. We were thinking it's some kind of radiological searching drone or some kind of situation, but no, looks like it was just this contractor testing their drones at nighttime, and it freaked everybody out.
Okay, now why wouldn't they have come out then and said it? Why did they let it get to the point of
Probably because it was
pure
they're under
speculation?
NDA, because it does not serve them to correct the record if they're under NDA. Which, if they're a military contractor, they probably were.
And you're saying that they're not now, and that's why they're talking about
I mean,
it?
the contract could have ended. There's any number of reasons why they're talking now and didn't then.
Yeah.
And any of them would be speculative. But it's interesting that after, you know, I guess like also if they'd have come out in the middle of it, would people have believed them? Probably not.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point.
Yeah. So let it die down and just go, oh, by the way, guys, that was us. Sorry. Here you go. Here's what we're testing.
I don't think it explains everything.
I think
I
some
don't
of them
think
are planes. I think some people are just silly. But I think this goes a long way to explaining a lot of that hysteria that people, it's not that people were making shit up or people were crazy. Like people were legit seeing stuff and it was this. So like I think there was a lot of hoo-ha about like, oh, people are just, some people, yeah, they saw planes, but some people, I at least in what I
What do you
saw
think about those
online in the
plasma
Discord,
videos? Like it was
The
like
what?
it was like a ball, and it looked like plasma, like crackling. And it was like anamorphous.
you're gonna need to show me to. I don't know.
Okay. Well, okay. So, oh God.
There was an interesting comment. So Uncharted Sky says that's ridiculous. They wouldn't have been shutting down airports and buzzing military sites. We don't know that. We don't know what their contract or remit was.
I'm with Uncharted on this one, actually. What that I didn't even think about that. Why would they be buzzing military? Well,
it's a military contract.
Yeah.
So maybe they're testing it on a military base. Like, it's not that big of a stretch, to be honest. And this term of buzzing, like the term buzzing military installations, if it took off from the base and then it's hovering over the base doing its test, that's not buzzing the station.
But why would the bases be shutting down? Why would airports be shutting down? You think
because the airports didn't know about the testing. Like there's a difference, right? There's a difference between the civilian response, who didn't know about any of the contracting, and then to the response of the military. Now, I can't remember if they shut down bases. Maybe they didn't even know about the testing themselves. Like we don't know if this was like a SAP or what kind of situation, or in what context this contract and this drone was being used by this company and by the military. But it buzzing military bases doesn't sound out of the realm of possibility, considering it was a military contract.
Langley did get shut down. So Langley Air Force, Langley was shut down, and
do you think that they knew? This is the thing. It's
fucking Langley.
So the point, like, if they don't have clearance to know about it, then they're not going to know about it. So like this response, all of this, like, oh my God, we don't know, we're going to shut it down. Could this just literally be because nobody knew that this company were testing a drone, and maybe that was the point. Maybe the test was go and test response times, go and test civilian versus military response in different contexts. Like, we don't know what the program was and what it was for.
But don't you think that is don't you think that So again, this kind of reminds me of, when I was talking to the Nimitz people, the crew of the Nimitz, and I asked them, is there any way that the Tic Tac event could have been a readiness response, a readiness
Drill.
response exercise?
Yeah.
And every single time I asked that question, their face would get very serious. And they would say, if there's one word I would use to describe any sort of training, any sort of drill, any sort of exercise being run, the number one thing is safety. And that is just not safe. I think that
Okay,
kind
here's
of
where I would
applies to
interject
this.
though, that, like, in the event that you are having to respond to something and your readiness is being tested, that's not safe by definition. So I have a slight problem with that reaction. And
Fair
obviously,
enough.
I'm not a pilot. I don't know the ins and outs of the safety protocol. But to train for war is inherently dangerous. So to say, oh, that would be unsafe to do a readiness test, that's what a readiness test is for.
So apparently
yeah.
Wright-Patterson also.
Okay. Interesting.
Which that is an interesting one because
because of the nukes.
Because of everything, right? Patterson is
it's lore heavy, yeah.
Lore heavy in the sense that, like, if people think Area 51's special, you miss the mark, right?
Area 51 only got special because people didn't know it existed.
Right.
That's the only reason why. Like, if people knew that, like, Groom Lake had a base on it, that Homer Field was now an Air Force base, like, if people knew about that the whole time, beyond, like, the military and the military structure, obviously you had, like, the Blackbird testing and
you also had everyone in Rachel, like that clearly knew, right?
I think if people had known about that, so when Bob Lazar came out as Dennis, if people had already known about Area 51, it wouldn't have had that kind of impact, because the fact that it was this. I mean, look, within like a year or two of Bob Lazar coming out, Megadeth do Hangar 18, right, and that whole album is very coded by the counterculture of the time, which included the new discovery of Area 51.
Right.
Sorry to get on a Megadeth tangent there, but
no, I think it's relevant. Because pop culture definitely influences.
I think it's a feedback loop. I think it's downstream from culture, but then culture is also downstream from ufology.
Right. I see. Yes.
Yeah,
I see
they bounce off of each other.
Did you see that other thing that they found that fell from space? Or
it
that
was me.
fell?
I am the unidentified transient object that fell from space.
Oh.
How are you doing? I'm here to ruin everybody's day.
Oh my god, I hate you. All right.
You love it, really.
Let me see here. I want to bring it up. So
wait, before we go further, if you're watching this, or in fact, no, sorry, let me if you're listening to this in audio land, this is a very visual show, and we appreciate you listening in audio land, but please come to YouTube or Rumble or X or Facebook and watch the visuals for the show, because we're showing things on screen, we're analyzing videos, we're looking at evidence, and your support would be greatly appreciated in getting that view count up. And if you're watching, hit the like button and subscribe and share this video, because if you do, I will give you my utmost respect, and that is worth a lot. So there we go. That's my little sales pitch. You can continue.
Oh, I like that. So okay, so this, you can see my. Can you see my cursor?
I can't.
Okay, so
cursing at me. I'm very offended.
So this is actually, and I'm not like saying CBS.
Oh,
News.
I saw this. I doom scrolled past it. Yes.
So now I'm not lending credibility to mainstream media in this. But I will say, CBS News showing it is different than like the Daily Mail showing it, right?
CBS is more, it's more.
you
trustworthy
know
than
what I
Daily
mean,
Mail.
right?
It's outside of the Murdoch press.
So this object, this burning object, fell from the sky, allegedly, and was found at a mining site in Australia. Look at that is, by the way, you said carbon fiber earlier. That's what this is.
I said carbon fiber.
You see all the fibers ripped apart, something like it fell. And what I'm thinking is, could this have been, an operation? Because the United States and Australia, I mean, the Australian prime minister was just in the United States with Trump at the White House. And I'm not saying that has anything to do with it, but the United States and Australia work pretty closely in military. And could they have shot something down that was, a Chinese satellite or something? I don't know. What is this? I don't see any like wires or anything that would indicate what it really is. And it's big. Look at that. It's still on fire at that moment.
Wait, that's different. No, wait.
So it didn't just disintegrate on re-entry.
Don't speed ahead.
It held its re-entry. If it did fall from,
video,
out of the atmosphere, that is.
So that original video
so look
is
at
shot.
That.
This is Mr. Beast getting pulled over by
Mr. Beast. I don't like that.
Mr. Beast.
by real cops, and I'm watching it all happen right now.
What is hoping right now?
Hoping that they will arrest him. And it all started with
broken it. Broken it.
All right.
I'll give you my honest take on it.
Or I can't hear you.
Hello. Hello. I'm talking. I haven't adjusted anything.
Nope.
Hello.
Is it just me? Can anyone else hear him?
Hello.
Sorry, I'll make
Hello?
The thing about these clips is
I'll refresh.
StreamYard brings them in, and then it's at that level that they talk about it, or that's at that level. So if it's too loud, just let me know, and I'll lower the volume. But let me share this. Huh?
Is it working now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. My honest take on that video. You were asking why there's no wires. I think I heard you say.
Yeah.
If it's re-entering the atmosphere enough to char it like that, any of the components on the inside are going to be either gone or melted on the inside of that mass. That looks like some kind of storage container or something, like for IS, like a fiberglass, not fiberglass, carbon fiber storage container, or like ballast or something that's come down. It did look like there was some kind of melted circuitry or wires on one, because they were like thermally shielded wires. You could see them all coming out of like what looked like a PSU, like a power supply unit. But interesting, but I don't think that's anomalous. I think that's just a space apparatus. Very interesting though.
My segment is just cool things that I find throughout the week. That's what I'm calling it for now. So another one, a neurotech startup in Silicon Valley, aka hell, REM Space says it has pulled off something straight out of science fiction. Two-way communication between lucid dreamers using specialized equipment and a constructed dream language called Remio. The company claims it successfully transmitted a single word from one sleeping participant to another, both fully in dream state. Founder Michael Raduga calls it a foundational breakthrough, suggesting this experiment could pave the way for real-time conversation inside shared dream environments. If scaled, it could radically alter how humans interact, opening doors to a future where communication isn't bound by waking reality. I found that to be incredibly relevant to a bunch of things that are going on right now. Obviously, so Danny Jones, I don't know if you know this because you don't follow the shows that I do, like the way
I try
do.
not to follow UFO shows so that I'm not colored. My
Well,
opinions aren't colored or biased by
Danny
anything I
Jones
might think.
isn't really like a UFO show.
Yeah, he's more of a
He's
proto
in,
Joe Rogan.
Everything, yeah, he's
proto Rogan.
Proto Rogan. Whereas like Julian Dory kind of sticks to, and Julian
Julian.
Julian, you almost just blew up my eardrums doing that.
Sorry.
Julian had on Chris Ramsey, and it's actually a really, really good conversation. And just wanted to shout that out. So, but Danny Jones had on the lady who is she's the mother of the girl in the telepathy tapes, and is claiming that is not just claiming, but also showing that she has this ability, whether you want to call it telepathy or remote viewing, like she has this ability to see when, like, not through her eyes. She's able to see, and she demonstrated it on Danny Jones. And obviously a lot of people are calling her a grifter and how she's using her autistic child to get famous and yada, yada, yada. What do you think about the telepathy tapes and this? I mean, if we live in a world where what I just read, our neurotech company is communicating in dreams. We've talked about things like DMT on the show already, and I think what is this, episode 5?
4.
Including the Sarah Adams original.
5 including Sarah.
Yeah. So 5. This is episode 5. We talked about a lot already, like thematically and topically. So in that same world where we're open to telepathy and that idea, this idea of science and the neurochips and like, if this is a piece of news, why is telepathy so out of, why is that the line that people draw?
I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't looked that far into the telepathy tapes. I remember
Can you do your goddamn homework for once?
What homework?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I remember when it came out, and I remember there being analysis of it, and it didn't look great. So to pivot a second, so this REM sleep thing, I got 2 questions. One, and I think Uncharted Skies beat me to it. Isn't that just the plot of Inception? It's an advanced version of it, but that's the same idea.
But so wasn't
shared dream space.
So wasn't the Apple Watch. I mean, we get a lot of ideas from science fiction, and we take those ideas, and then people are inspired by science fiction to become scientists, and then they go on to make something, and so it's art imitating life imitating art in that way.
Right.
I don't think it's a crazy thing to say that.
No. My second, it's reminded me somewhat of at Contact in the Desert 2023. I saw Andrew Gallimore it was really early in the morning. I saw him give a lecture on the Imperial College study on the DMTX study and what they're doing with that. And he described a process in which they found something called magnetoreceptors in the brain that can switch dopamine into DMT at like the flick of a button, where you wear like a skull cap with magnets, and you're able to log into the DMT world. Now, I am interested if there is some kind of crossover there between the process of communication between dream states and the process of this elongated DMT experience. Like, is the dream space connected to DMT space? Is there a correlation there? That's where my own interest lies with that. So that's what I've got on the Inception dream sharing. It's something I've thought about a lot because I love Inception. It's a great film. So the telepathy tapes is, I don't know enough about it to really judge it, but like my gut reaction is probably not. There's probably something that we're all missing, because I don't know. But then I think about like MK Ultra and everything that came after that. So I'm not going to say it's not true, but I'm also not going to go, yeah, it must be true.
What about the many accounts of people that have been taken by, abducted or had encounters with beings and reported telepathic communication?
Well, there's a difference between telepathic communication and extrasensory perception.
Right. But you don't think it stems and scales from the same, maybe like dormant ability, this maybe innate ability that is inside of us that can be unlocked and is along the same, along the same
hard to
line, if you will.
And talk seriously about like the idea of extrasensory perception or.
All right, well, let's just start
without venturing into the new age salad, right? It's very hard to have a serious discussion about it without venturing into something
but
that
you need
you
to
might
be
find
able to
unguidable.
cut away from that.
Right, but it's how do you move the subject out of the grasp of that world? Right. So like I'm very open to the fact that, I've had my own experiences. I'm open to the fact that people can perceive things.
You?
Yes. So like I don't want to get into it now, but yeah, I've had experiences. I've had experiences with my family and my mom especially. Like there are things.
Would you ever be willing to talk about it?
No, you get your monetizing mitts off of my life story. So my point is, I'm open to it, but you need to show me really good proof, and someone just being blindfolded in something that is edited after the fact isn't going to convince me.
Dude, I
want to see this live. I want to see her do it in front of me.
They did it live, bro. At Contact in the Desert, 2020-25. Oh my God, I just said
you were just talking about Danny Jones. I don't know about Contact.
I know.
Desert. I wasn't there.
Dog, you are best friends with the people that run it.
I wasn't there.
I know, but you didn't, dude.
Like, I don't know who spoke to shit because I wasn't there.
The interview that you edited between Bob Salas, myself, and Dave Schindele,
Yes.
The moment that alarm went off, that is also happened to be.
Was that during what their thing?
Yes, it was during their live demonstration.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, interesting tidbit of information there, right? But you can go and watch.
It's just longer enough, but I think that was someone just trolling, like griefing the conference, but like.
Yeah, no, that's what it was. But the timing was impeccable.
Yeah, I mean, it always is, though, right?
It was one of the. No, it was one of the.
Like almost like they went, oh, they're in the middle of this big thing, this big.
No, the golfers were pissed.
Yeah, I bet.
That's
a big time golf course there in Palm Springs.
Yeah, they were pissed that all these people were running around and they just like on their way out. There had been some run-ins, but the timing was impeccable.
Okay, they got to hang with the hot dog vendor for a couple of hours. They're okay.
Mm-hmm. But so that they did that live demonstration, and you can ask anyone that was in that room. People didn't. The fire alarm was going off. You heard what that sounded like, and that was going throughout the whole building. People wouldn't leave the big room that they were in, you know, the main room,
Yeah.
the big ballroom.
The Olympic ballroom.
I don't know if
No, Emerald Ballroom. Emerald Ballroom.
yeah. So you know, because so where I was with the media room, that was right around the corner of that, right? So
Right.
and we had to exit, and we had to exit through the same. So when we came out of our hallway, that's when you get to the hallway, the bigger hallway where the big ballroom is, not the big room, and that's where the telepathy.
Because your media room was next to the staff room. Because
Exactly.
I know where the staff room is.
Mine
That's
was
in my head
literally
where I'm
right
like,
across.
Yeah. I know what you.
So anyway, yeah. So but you can ask anyone that was in that room. I think like 20 people got up and left and walked out, but they just kept going while the alarm was sounding. They didn't know if it was like real or fake, which I think is unresponsible. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this on out loud, but people were so enamored.
Sorry, guys.
So enamored. They were so blown away because I mean, Captain Ron was like grabbing people's like books that they bought from a random. There was no way that she could have known what book this guy bought from the 27 different vendors. And even if she could know all the books that were being sold by some sort of, you know, backhand information, the chances that she gets all of that right, it was impossible.
What exactly was she getting right?
Everything. Everything.
Give me context, because everything
from
lottery numbers, like what was she doing?
From double blind, like, so she'd be on the stage, and Astral, my buddy, filmed it, and he is the one that, because obviously I was filming Salas, but he was the guy that was filming that session, and he came up to me afterwards and showed me it. We went in the room and I watched the whole thing, and well, not the whole thing. I don't think wait, was that one? And I end up getting to see the footage somehow. I don't remember if that was Astral who showed it to me. I know we went to his room, but it could have been. So I see the footage, and Ron is, so the clip that I was shown, the one that they fast forwarded to, was when he goes out into the crowd. He has people raise their hand if they want to volunteer to like, if they had a book or something on them, they raised their hand, and then he grabbed someone. Now the person's blindfolded, the girl's blindfolded, and I think so was her mother, if I'm not mistaken. And she's asked to read the cover of the book. Now she's on stage, Ron's in the audience, and you know how a stage is set up. It's higher, it's up a little higher, and then he's out in like the back of the room, dude. And he's like, "Can you read the title?" Dude reads it word for word. No prompting. Like, before he even stops, before he even gets the final word of the question out, she's already reading the book. And then they hold it up, and it's the goddamn book. It's the title of the book. That there's no way she could have known. And of course, you could throw earpiece out there. Absolutely, you could. But it just so happens that there was a magician on stage, Chris Ramsey, who was there specifically to watch out for stagecraft. Could he have been in on it? I don't know. I really don't think so.
Shout out to Brianna for thinking of that one.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Brianna thing.
That was, I don't know. Whoever thought of that was very smart, and like had the person an opportunity there, and was like, you know what I mean? Like, Chris is obviously going to jump on that opportunity. So to have him on stage, it gave that credibility of like, it was a magician's eye watching.
That's smart.
And he was looking at all the blindfolds and stuff like that. Like, he's like, all right, these are real. Like, this is the real deal. So I think, I want
to see footage of this. Like,
you can watch the whole thing on the Contact channel.
It's up on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we can watch a clip of it next show.
Okay. You have to remember, I don't really watch UFO content
Yeah, I know.
or lectures or simply because.
What does everyone? What do you guys think of? Because not a lot of people that like. There's a real debate going on about it. Like I remember I posted it, and my post was like, how can we continue to deny that there are these abilities? And like half the comments were like, she's a grifter, she's using her daughter, yada yada yada, and then half were like, she's amazing, so it's like it's really divided. So yeah, maybe you can look into it and we can talk about it next week.
Okay.
But we're almost already at 2 hours, and
we still haven't got to the unidentified transient object. I feel like we keep putting things in the title and then seeing how long we can go before actually talking about it.
Right there. Yeah, that's a new thing.
That is interesting. And
the timer.
That's the timer.
Like a timer in the corner, like how long it takes us to get to the actual main topic.
Oh, right.
Like
I'm watching it now. Like go up like an hour and 46 minutes, and
yeah. But what I guess that's kind of built in, right?
Yeah.
But it was, and here's the thing. Here's the thing about the telepathy stuff that they were displaying. It obviously sounds very similar to remote viewing. And if we're going to say that something exists, right? Like if we're working off the notion that yes, it exists, then telepathy and remote viewing, they seem to be the same thing to a degree, but just a little like different approaches to the same phenomena, right?
Right.
Or limitations, if you will, on the same phenomena. Like, but this woman on Danny Jones is also saying that her daughter, now she goes into like a lot more of it, stuff I had never heard before, about how her daughter like has always paced back and forth like at the end of the night, and they thought it was just a tick or like her her autism. And eventually the mom asked like, hey, what are you doing what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm being taught, like I'm talking to my friends. Bro, who are you talking to? My friends. And then eventually, through more questioning, the daughter ends up saying, yeah, I am like I'm communicating with someone, and she called them like her teachers and her guide, because for a lot of these autistic people that have these
how old is this kid?
What?
How old is this little girl?
She's at right now she's like 18 or 19, but they've been dealing with with this since she was like 12, 11.
I in my head I was thinking she was younger. So
she was.
If she was like really young, my question was going to be, where did the kid learn words like teacher and guide and stuff? But the person was older, doesn't matter. They would have heard those words as part of life at that point.
Right, but so for a lot of these, the nonverbal and the ones that have disability, and they're like kind of like trapped physically, but mentally, like, and we as able-bodied, we see that. We see someone who's disabled and like who can't use a part of their body, whether that's speaking or whether something that's superficial like speaking, or something that's like mechanical like an arm reaching around. Like we see that as an ailment, and that like they must be mentally also challenged, but that's not the case. They're in their head, they're spinning right? They're following along. They're keeping up. They're observing everything, and they're the ultimate observer because that's all they can do. They don't get distracted by turning around, right? It's like they are so tapped into the moment. Imagine what would be possible if you are tapped in. I mean, people try to meditate their whole lives to silence the world around them. Imagine if that was just every day for you.
This reminds me of the episode of The X-Files called The Goldberg Variation, where this guy is setting off like Rube Goldberg machines to end up in people's deaths. And it's a similar thing. Like, he's obviously neurodivergent and is able to see things in a probabilistic way, in a way that like normal perceiving humans can't. And he's able to like be like, oh, if I set this pen, it's going to knock over, make that guy spill his coffee,
like
that guy's going to swerve on his bike. Yeah. So it's I can see how there's like
So okay, let's do some homework, and barring no huge,
well, let's bear in mind that October 29th is the closest past of Third Eye Atlas to the
can
Earth.
you stop saying Third Eye Atlas?
Why?
Because it's so Three Eye Atlas. What is
You got to open your third eye.
hilarious?
If you don't open your third eye, you're not going to get enlightened, man.
Fucking David Wilcock over here. What's David? Oh, we should make a segment. What's David up to this week?
So David Wilcock, he this week sold his childhood home with
The wooden one, the cabin.
No. This is upstate New York. So he sold that home for like however much. I don't know.
How many homes does he have?
Well, it was like it was owned in the family. It was the one that they grew up in, but like none of them lived there anymore. So that's been being sold. He's trying to sell his cabin, and he's reduced the price by like a lot, and people still aren't buying it. And he hasn't streamed in like a while, and we're wondering if he just can't be bothered. He hasn't got anything new to say, or if he's been...
That's never stopped him before.
If he's been prevented from streaming because he filed false copyright strikes.
Oh.
Yeah. So we don't know, because obviously we can't get into his account, and we can't ask him like, hey David, why are you not streaming? Why are you not providing content for us to mock you with?
Right.
Yeah.
So the update is that there is no update for once.
The update is there is no update.
So what about if we never mind. We'll talk about this eventually. But now with our limited time, let's slide into today's main topic at the 1 hour and 53 minute mark.
I'm so sorry, audience. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we need to tighten the ship a little bit. So as we talked about, I guess we did kind of talk about it already.
Am I losing my mind? Did you just switch to your laptop camera?
What?
You've just switched webcam. There you go.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it switched to the MacBook. I was like, wait a minute.
It's like, whoa, you got super close. So Dr. B, as I'm going to call her after this, after I say her full name, Dr. Beatrice Villarroel, has now officially submitted her paper, and it's been accepted, peer-reviewed, and it's gone through the gauntlet, as we spoke about in the opening of the show. Now, I want to give an example of what the slides are. I just pulled this. I mean, so this is an example. So one of the slides is, marked whatever, and the next slide is like it's 49 to like 50 minutes later, I think it was, or something like that.
So one is a 17-minute
exposure
and a 30-minute exposure, but there is a transient point of light that seems to move within the image.
And you could see the light that now I can see the light. Do you guys see it? The one that moved, that seems to have moved. I can see it because
You have to remember the 30-minute exposure is going to be naturally brighter, so there is a intensity adaptation we have to.
Yes,
calculate
because
in
the
our head,
sun is
but-
moving, right? The sun is moving, and it's now. There's a lot of factors, but again, they are looking in Earth's shadow. So no, or I think that is the case. So this is just an example. This is another, and this one I like is because they're circled. So, but I don't have the actual. Oh, I wish I had. Why is this so big? Maybe you can you grab some of the pictures?
I can just share the actual paper. We'll do it that way.
Because I had a whole thing I had a whole slide deck that I made, but oh yeah, there it is.
Here we go. So, as figure 1 is interesting. It's
Okay,
it's
on
kind-
that
it's
one, it's
one of-
pretty clear what light is making. What is moving?
Yeah. So where am I? So here, it's fairly obvious that this is the thing that people are looking at.
The
this long-
transient.
the transient. My brethren, my space brethren from the stars. Is this? So let's go back, and there's some scatter plots and stoof. Here
Well,
we
there's
go.
one that has like one that, and they're directly like lined up. And that one was one of the ones I wanted to
This
really
one?
look at.
The scatter plot.
Was it the No. Like the actual lights are lined up.
I don't know which images you're on about.
I'll find it, but you can go back up to that scatter plot or wherever you wanted to go.
All right.
What is that? Actually, I did not see this.
This is a scatter plot of transients per day against total independent UAP reports, and a way to like correlate. So to boil this down, so we don't sit here for like 8 hours discussing it.
Yes, please.
Her paper, in the paper, it calculates via this scatter plot that there was like a 67% chance of seeing a transient 1 day after a nuclear detonation, allegedly. That's probably the most interesting part of this paper for me.
Of course, I think it's one of the ones for me too. I have a huge vested interest in the nuclear topic.
I find it very interesting. I find the arxiv, the back end, the part 2 of this story to be way more interesting than the paper itself. To be honest,
do you think that the paper? So the big thing here is that the paper, after being peer reviewed, after going through the gauntlet that is, submitting a white paper, doing the work, over years, looking at these slides, and you have to look at these things, they're looking at them through like the things that the magnifying glasses they use like on diamonds, and they're going over these things like with microscopes on every pixel and looking at these things. Like years and years of work have been done, and they come out with this paper, and I think Astral was I think he was right. He had tweeted that he thinks the paper didn't. So apparently there is this server, and it's called
it's called arxiv.
What is it?
ARXIV, so arxiv.
Okay.
So it's a paper hosting website.
Right, and that's where papers go to live. Or to live or die, if you will. And sometimes they're not even papers that are actually accepted, but it's like a scientists, like where anyone can go in and read through a paper and then try to replicate it or review it, peer review it, to continue and compound upon it. And they rejected it once they rejected it. They gave Dr. Villarroel a saying like, "Hey, you have to fix this older work," and she fixed it, resubmitted it, and then they told her the topic was not of interest to them, and they did not want to put it on their server. I think that is extremely I mean, I'm it's something we've seen in the UFO community for so long, for so many stories. That's the ending of the story. Is the goalpost got moved right at the end. The rug got pulled out right at the end, and then the end. Right. And it seems like that's what we're dealing with again. And that's why it's really worrisome to me that the gatekeepers, whoever is pulling the strings behind the scenes, they have permeated through every facet, from science to venture capitalism to Silicon Valley to Hollywood. They have permeated every industry. And I think that we are dealing, whether you want to call them the cabal or the deep state or breakaway civilization or whatever, I think we are dealing with something that, again, Daniel Inouye spoke about it in his speech before I forget who the speech was for, but he was a senator from Hawaii, and he had said that there's
Daniel Inouye he was the guy that was in the Situation Room on 9/11, right? Yeah.
No, was he? Daniel Inouye was part of the three. He was part of the Gang of Eight. Harry Reid, and the other guy were the ones who greenlit. So they greenlit the money for OSAP. The 200 million, and put it aside for that program. And so Daniel Inouye also gave a famous speech where he says that there exists an entity that operates outside of the law, has its own army, its own fundraising mechanism. It does not adhere or subjugate itself to anything. It operates outside of the constructs of like our society, and it has its own fundraising mechanism, its own agenda, and that is, it's something that is very real, and it's something that we're coming up against again and again. The UAP Disclosure Act failed again, another failure. So I think it's unfortunate, but this paper is going to fall to the wayside eventually.
I don't think so. And here's why. Literally just before we came on air, I saw a trailer for Jesse Michaels' American Alchemy. He's done a full deep dive with Dr. B and gone to Palomar and actually got the actual evidence that she was studying. And so, like, I don't generally watch his stuff, but like that's actually one I will watch, because that's like the equivalent to like 60 Minutes would do the same thing, right? So like, yeah. I'm going to begrudgingly say, good job, Jesse. Good job.
No, he does. So, Jesse does a great job. He really does.
Yeah.
American Alchemy has become a juggernaut for being very much in the now, and having he has his finger on the UFO heartbeat, and whether it's David Grush,
or whether it's Peter Thiel texting him who to interview. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You're the heel for sure.
What was the thing that Sam Bankman-Fried was doing? I can't remember what it was called.
What?
The crypto scam that Sam Bankman-Fried was doing, FTX.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this was it's probably some kind of thing he did at work, but Jesse Michaels is in the transaction logs for FTX with Sam
So
Bankman-Fried.
he had bought in.
Yeah, he brought like $20,000 worth of stocks or something. Like,
Did he?
I
pump
can't
and dump it?
remember the exact number. I don't know. I just saw the transaction of how much he brought and his name, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, considering he works for like Teal Capital, and it's just a weird detail that I saw and was like, okay,
That's a very weird detail.
yeah. Especially when you
Wow.
consider all of the crypto scamming going on in ufology. Just saying, it's odd.
Wow.
yeah.
I hope you know that is a large claim to make, and you might
I
get
know.
clipped.
I might get clipped. Hi, hi YouTube.
So be better. No, but on X. But
Hi X.
so be ready to defend that one.
I
if
still
you
have
need
my
to.
hoodie X.
Yeah, but oh, that's funny. I see what you did there. That was pretty funny, actually.
So what I was going to say.
So what I
getting
wanted-
back to the paper, I think it's good that he's done that because it's actually going to give a visual to the evidence instead of just the paper. It's going to make it digestible to people. Now, I started looking into the ArXiv team, the way that the process is when you submit, and I found out it's not a static team. It's actually it's a constantly changing group of people. So I saw people online complaining like, "Oh, didn't Jeremy McGowan publish some half-assed AI-written paper on ArXiv and it got accepted?" Which is true, it did. And it got me thinking that maybe this is some kind of internal bias of whatever the makeup of the acceptance team is right now. So like there's a difference in and I agree, like maybe they should have like an actual team where people are like put there and they're expected to follow some kind of morality rubric, but I don't think that's how it works. So yeah. So anyway,
that I mean, it doesn't negate the fact that these people, again, I'm saying, you know,
well,
I'm not saying the people that rejected the
my
paper.
point, with that in mind, thinking about why they rejected the paper, like could it have just could the paper have just been too broad in scope in terms of like cross discipline, so that they can't quantify or like frame what this article is supposed to be because it's so cross discipline that they go, we can't quantify this, so we can't accept it. It's not because they think it's a bunk article or anything like that. She went and fixed the thing they said to fix, but now they're saying it's not of interest because they, which I think is a cop-out statement. I think it's honestly it's a scope issue because the paper does go in a lot of different directions. What is this?
So this is just a display of like where the observatories are and where they're looking, right?
Okay.
And where satellites would often be seen.
Is this accurate to the thing?
What do you mean?
Accurate to the event, or is this just a representation of it?
It's a representation of where satellites can be seen. And again, this is pre-satellite era, right? So that's all null and void. But then there's this angle,
Pre-public satellite era. If we're talking about how classified programs have stuff years in advance, it's perfectly plausible that they had stuff up there before.
Yeah, which is why I grabbed this, because
that's a good visual for the audience, definitely, to understand like how these angles work. Like
satellites in Earth's shadow, they cannot be observed, right? So, in the way the sunlight, you know, is shown here, it's a good representation of and where they're seeing and like where the angle of observation. If I'm not mistaken, where they are looking is so where they're looking is in this shadow, right? Like where Dr. Villarroel is looking is in that shadow area. So that's why it makes it like, even if, you know, like that's what's crazy about it.
That's interesting.
But I could be wrong, so please don't take my word on that, because now that I'm saying it, it almost doesn't make sense, because if it's reflecting sunlight and glinting, well, no, maybe that's what makes this interesting in the first place. My
Maybe.
God. Why do I not know?
Because
I feel like what I've been operating under is that why I made this or had AI create this is because I was under the impression that the observatories that are taking these pictures were taking pictures of this shadow area. So like, even if satellites did exist, satellites cannot be seen, but something out in orbit can be seen because, it's out in orbit and
it's out past the shadow of the Earth.
Right, it's out past that because the thing about this is it's not like parallel. The shadow isn't parallel. It eventually comes to a point, and then anything past that has light because it's not operating under the illumination of our sun. It's operating under the illumination of everything else. So I am under the impression that they're looking in this shadow. That's where the pictures are taken from, is where the Earth shadow is. So so the researchers they looked for how many transient fell within the Earth's shadow, and for objects at a given altitude. So I think they found significant deficit of transients in the Earth shadow region, like meaning fewer sightings where sunlight wouldn't reach an object to reflect. So that the implication of it being, if some of these events are caused by sunlight reflecting off objects in orbit, then you'd expect fewer in that shadow area. And that's where it's being observed. Like, I'm pretty, you know what I mean?
That is interesting.
It doesn't
have a problem with
alien...
the conclusion. Well, not exactly conclusion. Her hypothesis that this is some kind of metallic material. What are you basing that on? Like,
because it's reflective.
I know you just. I know,
and it's
yes,
composition. I think
a point of light. We don't know that that's reflective. We don't know that could just be a comet breaking or something. It could be, and it doesn't have to be a reflection. So my point is, like,
well, she's saying that they're lining up as well. Like, it's like there's more to it than that. Like, okay. I think if it was just glimmering, if it was just brightness and increases in sunlight, I think that's where they would have drawn the line and been like, well, it's clearly just random, random reflective, light. Like, it's just.
I got a question for you. Do you think this is a situation where Palomar Observatory, they didn't realize what they had this whole time?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to bring that up. That was a big hit. That's good marijuana. Oh God. So
that reminds me of that video where the guy goes pink from hitting a blinker.
I don't mean to cough on air, but the live show is where
mute your mic if you're gonna cough, sir.
I didn't know, it just happened. Usually I don't. But that's what I like about the live shows. I can like kick back and be my not authentic self, but I can be more of myself. Like, when I have to interview someone, you have to conduct yourself a certain way. So what I like about this is chilling. But
I'm just me.
Yeah. Anyway, what I really I want to make abundantly clear, this obviously doesn't prove that alien satellites or any advanced non-human technology exists. But I think it does raise, a meaningful question about the origins of whatever these things are. If some of these objects are orbiting, if they are reflective, then they predate the first known satellites, meaning the sky, just may be more populated than we thought. And by what? Is it just rocks? Is it something else? What does it mean if we've been sharing orbit with unknown objects all along, right? Like, what if we've never been alone? Does it change the narrative of the space age and the? Does it? Did we know? Like, did these things just sit there? Because we know that people like the Harvard, and this hits close to home, but the Harvard astronomer, he ordered the destruction of thousands of these slides. Thousands.
Okay.
And look into this. It was like, what more could we have known? What more data points would we have if it wasn't for him? And his because he was a skeptic, he was a known debunker, like the opposite of Avi Loeb, which is very ironic. But this guy, he destroyed. If there is anything to this, then that guy destroyed evidence, and that I think that should be
What
taken
was his
into account.
did he like give a reason? Was it like some kind of data retention thing? Or
Nope.
He just destroyed.
He just destroyed it. Yep. That's what I'm told. That's what I'm told.
Told by who?
I mean, many people, but also people at Harvard, like, who are in, and I'm not going to implicate them.
Okay.
So, but it's known. It's something that you can look into, like you can look up. But
okay.
The guy, what's his name? He was the known skeptic guy.
I'm not sure why you look that up. I'm gonna just highlight this comment from Echo. I agree. Like, if Arxiv hadn't have rejected her story, it probably would have come and gone. Like, yes, Jesse Michaels would still have his episode coming out. It would have got a lot of attention, but it probably wouldn't be causing as much of a hoo-ha as it is now, because it's been rejected, that's given like skeptics and those pesky debunkers is giving them like, oh my god, see, there's finally common sense in Arxiv. They're not letting this bunk paper in. It's like, well, I don't think it's a bunk paper. Like, I'd be the first person to be sitting here going, no, that's a bunk paper. But that's qualitative mathematical analysis of data, along with analysis of physical slides that if it have literally existed, and then correlating that against known numbers of UFO sightings. That's perfectly good science, to be honest. Like, you're just correlating like events by date and looking at like what date had a nuclear test, what date had a UAP, and what date had a transient object in the sky, and seeing where those all overlap. Like, I don't think that's not bunk. So I think people that are calling it bunk are summarily stupid and don't understand science. That's my... And you can clip that. I don't care. Come at me, bro. That's the end of my TED talk for the day.
It just keeps saying Avi Loeb, and I'm like, no, it's not. Why? It's not him. The guy was like super well known for being a fucking...
It's a cover-up.
A UFO skeptic.
They're trying to stop you from telling me the truth.
Whatever. I'll do my homework and we'll talk about it next week. Anyway,
they're after us. Tyler.
Anyway, he was in known like UFO, like he would do the rounds on, during that time where like oh god, I'm forgetting everything right now. That is not a good advertisement for...
Is your name Tyler?
Yes.
Are you in the Boston area?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
I do know my...
Just checking you weren't having a stroke, okay?
Yeah,
you okay?
Oh, getting everyone's name. Fuck. But anyway, would it have come and gone? I don't think so. I think it would have been a domino, and it would have showed other people that years of work could end up in a white paper and end up making headlines and making people look up and be inspired and know that they're not going. They might get ridiculed, here and there, but they'll be remembered in history for being on the right side of it because they dared to look up, right? Like just like Galileo dared to challenge the narrative of, and that's why I love that Avi chose that name. And we need to realize that sometimes we need to put our belief systems aside and we need to look up and we need to not go where the evidence leads us. And I think, this is really something. So for it to be rejected from a server like that seemingly accepts papers that get rejected, and are that really frustrates me because they also approved a paper, I believe 6 months before. Maybe I'm wrong on the date, but someone had told me that they accepted a paper a while back that was challenging this whole thing. So is that why they're not interested? Because someone challenged it already? And if that's true, then we have a bigger problem, right? Like we have a bigger problem because that is something the UFO community is also used to, is like when David Grush testifies before Congress, and I said this last night, when he does that, the Las Vegas alien thing happens and muddies the water. And then everyone's just like, aha, bullshit, right? Everyone just in their head automatically assumes bullshit and scrolls right past it because it's more of nonsense, like the Miami Mall situation and fucking portals and shit. That's the stuff we deal with. So yeah, it's like it comes with the territory. And I guess we need to know how to counter that. But it's hard to know how to counter it when you don't know who your real enemy is.
Well, we counter it with conversations like this where we don't necessarily agree. The whole point the whole point is to have dialogue, right? What am I looking at?
Yeah, this is an amazing.
Is that the Jetsons?
It was Jetsons. I prompted AI to make this. And I just uploaded I uploaded the white paper and just said, can you please create an image that best represents like everything that's being talked about, and like using the implications and everything. And this is what it spit out as. And I did it as I said, paint like a colorful picture.
That's like one of those pulp comics from the 50s.
Yeah. That's why I really liked it.
Very cool.
It felt very comic booky to me.
So I also plugged that white paper into Grok, and I asked it, why would this paper have been rejected from ArXiv? And it looked up and found the statement that they gave. So it kind of regurgitated their answer back to me. But then I asked it, what could Dr. B do to fix this article to get it accepted? And the general consensus of Grok was reframe the issue and minimize the UAP connection, which is interesting that Grok expert was straight up saying, get rid of the UFO stuff, which is like, what? Even the AI is like, what? So I don't know. I don't know what the crack is with it, but
I mean,
it's
she's still
that their team isn't static and their team isn't one singular group of people that's always the same. It's a roving band, kind of like Wikipedia in a way, where there's this roving.
Oh, but don't even. But there is a
same with Reddit mods. There's people that moderate like 25 different Reddits, and they see it as like they're gatekeepers of realistic news.
It gives them that power that they seek in real life.
Yeah,
that's what it does. It gives them that power that they seek in real life.
So
that they don't
like,
have.
Could this be good old-fashioned misogyny? Maybe.
Ooh,
we don't know what the makeup of that team is and where they are professionally, who they are, what they do, what their viewpoints are.
That's a good point.
Like, We don't know. It could literally be this is a fairly young woman. We don't want to promote her
Pretty.
because this is a good old boys club.
She's
So like
she's
we don't know.
pretty. She's a very pretty woman. Like and some guys do think like that. Sad to say, but like some men are like that, and it does tend to be white men and that's why like I mean I'll never get on board with like this whole like attack on white men and like manliness. Yeah, I grew up with a mother who I grew up with. My dad was always in my life, but he was unable to be in my life for 7 years. So my mom raised me, and I was raised with a sister that was a year, like me and her are 1 year apart. So I'm 32. So I was born in 93. She's born in 94. September, March, right? So a little over a year. They called us Irish twins.
This show is brought to you by Cough Drops. And Cough Drops 2, the sequel.
Shut up. And so I grew up in a house that was like, I learned to like pull out chairs for women and elderly people. And like, I learned how to take a girl on a date, and I learned how to talk to women and to treat them in a way that they were equal. Cause and my mom also allowed me to see things the way I see things with like UFOs. And she just never, she never sugarcoated it. Like she always told me what, like, I remember seeing my first, like as a white person, you see your first colored person. And apparently, like my mom told me this later in life, she said that I had pointed, and she grabbed my hand. We were at the carnival, and I pointed at a black family, and I was just confused. I guess I hadn't, I hadn't
Right.
seen it before, or it just, and I was pointed. She grabbed my hand, pulled it, and then she picked me up, and she like sat me down at the picnic tables that they have at carnivals. And this black family like saw her do this, and she just like sat there with me, and she was like, I forget what she said, but the way she told me, she was like, she just laid it out like, there are people, she started talking about skin pigmentation and like distance of like the equator, like relative to the equator, all of our ancestors.
Melanin levels.
She fucking spelled it out. And this family like came up to her after, and they were like, you didn't have to do that, like, but what you did was like really like amazing. Like they were just kind of like blown away. And I'm not like trying to say like, oh, look at us, like, but I never saw the world in color like that. Ironically, I'm colorblind, like actually, but I was also colorblind, and like, is it the same thing with gay? The gay couple or the lesbian couple, she would always just sit me down and be like, and this is why not everyone's the same. Not everyone has the same. And she would just break it down. And when I saw my UFO, she didn't say I saw a plane, or so like, that's the lady she was. She wouldn't sugarcoat it. And she would just let you know, like, there's differences in the world. We're not all the same. We don't all think the same, but we are equal, all of us. And that's what the UFO community lacks. It lacks this notion that we're all equal, right? This hierarchical bullshit and prejudice.
I think it exists if you go to the right places. So like Jeffrey Kripal, is that his name? Jeffrey Kripal?
Yeah, he's amazing.
So like, yeah, he's doing exactly what you were just talking about, kind of thing. In that he's looking at things beyond just the physical nuts and bolts of a UFO, but in an academic setting. Like, so he's looking at, like, is the UFO a manifestation of the, like, co-creative consciousness or whatever? I think that was one of the things he said about. He said another thing about, like, to do with the human soul and UFOs, and it's like this is a guy. He's a doctorate. He's got a PhD. There's actual academic studies being done. So it's an interesting. I've lost my plot and place where I was talking about, but Jeffrey Kripal. Shout out to Jeffrey Kripal.
Anyway, I want to ask this. What could this mean? And I want to ask you this, and then we'll get out of here because it's 9:20 already. But I have a tab that I created, and it's what could this mean? So the results suggest that some of these transient events might not be simply photographic artifacts, smudges, like distorted slides, like what do they call it? Compromised slides,
Right.
or astronomical natural phenomena like meteors, distant stars, plate defects. Like I just said, plate defects. That's the one. Because the associations hint at a pattern near nuclear tests, near UAP reports. I find it really cool that, just like with 3i Atlas and the WOW signal, this connects to a little bit about the Washington flyovers, the 2 weekends in a row where UFOs flew over the Capitol, and jets were scrambled. And, that's a case that that's a whole rabbit hole in itself. But, these were missing in the Earth's shadow again. So it is the Earth's shadow that they're looking at. One interpretation, some of these transients could be objects in orbit or at high altitude that reflect sunlight or emit light and thus show up briefly. That's especially relevant given that they predate known satellite launches. If true, this opens up the possibility that the sky had unknown orbiting objects well before the era of any known recorded human-built satellites, raising big questions about the history of space. Who put objects there, and why do they remain undetected and unreported? Why do you think?
Do you think that we detect the same things now, but we know what they are? So we just don't even make it to do about it, but then we find it in old slides, and it's not like we've got a system to go, this is what this is, because of the quality and technology of the time. Like,
yeah, it very well could have been,
yeah.
Or it could have been something that was known about and then did end up making its way to the top, and then there's so many again, operating on the idea that we do have reverse engineered craft, that we have had crash retrieval programs, we do have biologics. Like, if we're operating on that notion, then we already know, right? Like, humans and some humans, whether that's the breakaway civilization, but if there are things that are truly visiting Earth and not just visiting and being seen, but if they're actually involving themselves to the degree and that technology has been passed on, then all of this is null and void, right? And it already made its way all the way up to the top, and someone's now keeping that a secret. If we're operating on that notion, then this is just fodder. It's filler, and it's
right.
it's a good starting point, right? But all the other evidence suggests, and that's again like this 3i Atlas thing. Yes, it's like passing Earth, but again, like, it's a rock, and we saw it coming. We could plot its trajectory. Like, if we're operating under the guise that UFOs pop in and pop out of space time and like they're abducting people, like, because space rock is boring. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, by happenstance. So if we're operating on this notion that it's a galactic federation, like an interstellar comet, that shouldn't, that ain't
I mean,
shit, right?
I mean, for what it's worth, we
But
keep
if
using
it's
this phrase,
not-
it's going to pass Earth, as if it's some kind of near Earth pass. It's going to be about as far from the Earth as Jupiter,
Yeah,
the other side of the asteroid belt.
it is
So it's,
coming through our solar system, though, and
it is, but
But
I think I
it
made
is
this point last week. Like, are we just like, we've had 3 things spotted in the past like 20 years? Are we just seeing these things now because we've actually got
Yeah,
good enough?
because we're
good enough-
looking.
right?
Because we're looking.
right.
Absolutely. That's why they keep, because 3, and for anyone who doesn't know, 3 stands for the third known, keyword, known interstellar object. And the second object is actually the first object, I believe, because the second object, they went back and looked through the data and found something that had crashed earlier, and then that's the one that they went and found in the ocean. So
Right.
we know that I mean, if these things are being seen now, there's a good chance that many of these things have come in, and but this is the third one that we've recorded in our history in the public space astronomical record. 3 means third. I means interstellar / Atlas. Atlas is the array of telescopes that made the discovery. Okay,
Yes.
so that's all I have, man.
I got one thing to end the show. It's on a more of a lighter note, considering we just got pretty in the weeds on conspiracy and holding down of information, gatekeeping, all this stuff. So
Yeah,
I
we
thought
need to create the segment buffers and titles, and
we do. But to
Yeah.
end the show, I want to shout out a good friend of mine, Mr. Jeff Knox, who is a UFO historian, and he posts
I know Jeff.
every day. Jeff's amazing.
I think I've had him.
So
Wait, maybe I have not.
he posts every day UFO history, and this is a segment I want to start doing each week, which was This Week in UFO History.
Oh, cool. I like
So,
that.
So this is a pre-Roswell sighting.
Ooh.
Yes. So this was reported to the Norwalk Hour of Norwalk, which I guess is like a local magazine or whatever, in 1959 by Richard Swede, who was a school teacher. He related his experience of watching an object take off from the ground on October 18th, 1927, which is hella early. According to his narrative, he was driving from Bakersfield, California to Yuma, Arizona. When just on the outskirts of Bakersfield, he saw the object and apparently got a good look at it. His description matches many of those of the UFOs reported today. Bear in mind this was written decades ago. He estimated the... what am I hearing?
I was giving you a little background music.
My own metal music. What?
Yeah.
Okay, that's like my theme tune. Cool. His description matches many of those UFOs reported today. He said he estimated the object to be about 60 feet in diameter. It had holes or round windows which had protruding metallic or ceramic objects over them, which resembled lenses. The color of the craft itself was bluish gray, and resembled metal, which had been heated and allowed to cool. So you get that oxidization effect. So think of something metal re-entering the atmosphere, that would have that effect.
Yeah.
And it gave off a whining, humming, wheezing, swishing sound as it moved. The object had a smooth, steady acceleration, rising an angle of 45 degrees, and he further claimed that when he arrived at the spot where the object had rested, he found sand fused like glass crystals.
Wow.
Which I thought was really, really interesting.
Wow.
Now here is the APRO report for it. So just so we can confirm this is a thing that was in the paper. Look, November 5th, 1958 or 1938. Sorry, someone else had Oh no, it was
Wow,
58.
so this
1958. Sorry, it's
so
hard
it
to
did
tell
not
the serial number.
predate.
No, so it predated. It was in 1927.
So,
But the
but this
person-
predates Kenneth Arnold as well.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, it happened in 27, and the interview was given in 58, where he
Wow.
relayed what he saw 31 years later. I just thought this was a very interesting, like
Yeah.
with
it's
everything we were talking about with Dr. B and sightings pre-Sputnik. I thought this would be a good place to end our discussion in that there are documented sightings of weird stuff pre-World War II.
Maybe we
which
can
match
end.
details that we get decades later.
Maybe we can end the show each time with one of these.
Well, I would like to make it to whatever week we're doing this show, so it's current to where we are in the year. So like this, the reason I bring this one up is because he saw it on October 18th, 1927, which is 98 years ago this week.
Yeah. Well, I want to know, because what day is our next show? It's got to be, that's going to be the Halloween show, technically,
It's
right?
going to be on the 30th.
The 30th. It's on Halloween Eve. So yeah, we got to find some Halloween themed segments to do.
I'm going to be turning up as Spooky, not as Kari. It's going to be the Spooky episode.
I can put on I'll go as yeah, I'll dress up. I'll dress up for the show too then.
I'll dress up as Stephen Cambion. How about that?
If you dress up.
Ha 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 ha. I love you, Stephen. Don't kill me.
Can you do a Stephen impression real quick?
No.
No? Okay.
I'll save it. You can have it on Halloween.
Okay. Wait, are you really gonna dress up like him?
Did I stutter?
But can you pull that off? I guess it's just regular clothes.
We'll find out, Tyler.
It's just,
we'll find out. I do crazy, stupid stuff every Halloween. I do something silly on the stream. Like one year, I turned up with tinfoil around my head. One year, I grew a goatee just so I could be Jeff from Strange Recon, and then I kept the goatee for months afterwards. Yeah. That's the point. I had a post go semi-popular this week. There was a show called Strange Recon on YouTube by a guy called Jeff, who's actually in your neck of the woods.
Whoops.
What? I'm just putting it out into the universe, Jeff. If you see this, I miss you, man. Come back. Like, I miss your show in the daytime. You're making Norm Macdonald jokes and talking a million miles an hour about like drone contracts and military stuff. I just putting it out there in the universe. I miss that show. So
wow, yeah.
Hi, Jeff.
I will say this: there was an Expedition X episode done on the Bridgewater Triangle, and by Discovery Channel, and it sucked. They suck.
What were you expecting when you watched something by Discovery?
I know the guy. So when I did my segment in the Bridgewater Triangle, which is a film I had a 3-part film that I was making called Cursed Echoes, and it part 1 was about the haunted road that I grew up next to. Part 2 was about Salem and the witch trials, and they all intertwined with King Philip's War and the Bridgewater Triangle. So the part 3 became Bridgewater Triangle. Originally, it was only supposed to be 2 parts, but then Bridgewater came in after the fact. And so I filmed at the Josiah Keith House. I was the first. So Ghost Adventures got turned down to film in that house, and I got to stay there for 3 nights. And
not bad for a nobody.
Not bad for nobody. But all that footage I still have, and we have to do a lot of reshoots. There was no main character. There's no heart. It was just interviews and footage of like a couple of the investigations that we did that would only make for good like short clips. They wouldn't drive the narrative. So there needs to be more of that. But I also went on to I did a TV show and the film that I was featured in for that, because the person that I interviewed was also making a film about Dudley Road, where I grew up, and so it was good for both of us. So he interviewed me for that, and he went on to win like an award for his film. So, and I got to shoot at the studio, like full production studio, jibs, walls that were green and full sets, and yeah, it was really, really cool.
That's pretty cool.
But, I have all that footage. I filmed with people that had experiences from haunted houses next to Dudley Road to people who had experiences on Dudley Road. I've had my own experiences on Dudley Road. And I'm very skeptical when it comes to the paranormal. Then I filmed with witches, mediums, you name it, in Salem around Halloween at the backdrop for my interviews for that movie was the Salem. So I had it, the shop that was letting me film, that let me set up, is the most, like, it's the prime real estate, because it's the only place that in the background of it is the actual witches memorial, where all the witches are memorialized. It's the place. It's the place that everyone goes in Salem with, where they have all the names on the stones, and you walk around it, and it's like it's not where the actual hangings took place, and it's not even really where the witches are buried, but it's a memorial, and that's where everyone goes. That's where all the tours bring everybody. No one knows where the actual hangings took place. They suspect that it was on this hill, but they can't prove it.
How can nobody know where they hung a bunch of people?
I think they do. I think Salem does know, but they don't. They don't want it.
Once that information gets out, then it becomes a massive tourist spot. So it's probably privately owned land, and owner doesn't want
Probably. There's like 4 super weird graveyards in Salem. Salem, like right now, Salem is crazy. Beginning of September, Salem is like millions of people a year descend upon a town that does not have the infrastructure. Like, it's crazy.
Like Storm Area 51 when everyone turned up in Rachel,
but way worse.
But way worse. Because it's not the desert and people can turn up.
Yeah, because there is infrastructure. There's just not enough, and I'm talking millions. People are literally like standing on the dude. I watched a full on, because remember the Church of Satan is right in Salem, their headquarters, and they always do this big elaborate fucking thing on Halloween, and like right up in the days up to it, and it's like they wear goat heads and shit, and it's crazy. It's so I have all of that on film. And I want to put it together someday, but as of right now, that story is so close to me that I will not put anything out that I don't think is the best of the best and most accurate representation of the vision that I have for it. So I am willing to shelve it for 10 years just to get it right.
That's integrity right there.
Yeah.
No,
but the guys I worked with in the Bridgewater, so the guys that were featured in this thing, they're always like, "Oh, we got to get it out. We got to get it out." And I'm like, "No, like it doesn't have soul. There's not." And they're like, that's a whole nother thing. But it's another segment that didn't do good. Doesn't accurately represent the history and like the true weird shit that because remember, this is where it all started. Like this area is where the country started. It's not where the natives started, but it's where the white man came in and like started like all the battles and stuff that are around here. Like Avi Loeb, when I went to pick him up at his house, he lives in Lexington, like not even 2-3 people ago. No, was it like 3 to 7 people ago? They were battling with like cannons. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Now I'm driving to pick up Avi Loeb in that same area. It's like the history there is just tangible. It's crazy.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Same with Salem. Like you just feel it. Once you enter Salem, because you come through Lynn and like Revere, and then you hit Salem. And like, dude, it's like a bubble. You enter it. Like it changes.
Glastonbury in the
Yeah.
UK is very similar, where it's,
Anyway.
it's its own. It's almost like the island from Lost, where it exists in its own little temporal bubble.
It's a really good way of describing it. All right. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Again, we're gonna be tightening. We got to tighten up a little bit. We've been playing fast and loose for like the first few episodes.
Well, I guess we're trying to find where the sweet spot for how long the show should be. So today we went long. We did a 3-hour show today instead of 2 hours.
Yeah,
I don't feel like it was any worse than 2 hours. So there's something we can debrief on. But I don't. If the audience is cool to listen for 3 hours, I can talk for 3 hours. So
yeah, me too. I could talk to a wall for 3 hours. Anyone knows that. Everyone knows that.
So where can people find you, Tyler? Anyway, where can they find you on the interwebs?
At Disclosure Pod. Also, all the links are in the description below, as well as Kari's link on X. Oh, and become a member and support the channel. The more support we get, the more we can do. Already you get ad-free and early access. And honestly, if you can't help monetarily, that's honestly, it's okay with me. Just as good as helping monetarily is going and leaving a review on Spotify or Apple and leaving a nice comment, or sharing with your friends, your family, your enemies. We don't discriminate. Like, share it to the Greys. If you're connected to the Galactic Federation, share it with them too. I don't care. I want everyone to watch, and I want everyone to engage. We have podcasts, so interviews like with real serious people in the field. Not to say that this is not serious, but this is a little more laid back. But shows like this, where we have a lot of fun. And then I've been dabbling in some pre-recorded content, which eventually I'll have Kari start to edit, and then it'll take off in a new way once that happens. So yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Well, you can find me at Fires of Truth on the amazing microblogging hell website called X. You can find me here co-hosting with Tyler.
Twitter.
You can find me moderating the chat in the Truth Seekers chat or their Discord. Or you cannot find me. That's okay too. But I'd like it if you did. Why am I clapping? Happening?
What, you didn't want a little applause?
No, because it makes me feel like I'm going crazy. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're listening in audio land, please come over to the YouTube. You'll just type in Total Disclosure Podcast, look for the red UFO, and you'll find
That's
it.
what I always say.
I know. I heard you say it last time, and I was like, that is exactly what I should say, because that is what you should do to find the show.
Yeah.
So
also I got a hat and a shirt, and I'm not trying to sell any merch yet, but I like wearing the shirt on the show. It's nice. And maybe we'll think about it. Anyway, guys, thank you. We'll see you on the other.
Goodbye.
All right. See you guys.